Chapter 79, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _1. I haven't had m'ladies in such a long time, A pervert. It was late afternoon when the sun had risen high. When I returned home, a pervert was there. I really wish somebody would explain the situation to me. I'm sure an explanation would make this even more confusing, but at least it's going to be a good way to escape this reality. Still, there are times when we have to face reality. The pervert is holding Lady Violet's. Considering the pervert's duty, that in itself isn't weird. It's not supposed to be weird, but it is weird how excited the pervert is. It's okay, I'm CLO Hartfield. Ever since I became Shiki's lord, I have had to reluctantly get used to such strange people. I shall gracefully turn them aside this time, too. I might as well put it in my mouth. Oh, this is the type of a situation I shouldn't ignore. I have to solve this problem. I resolved myself and decided to stand in front of the pervert. Why did things turn out this way again? I'm sorry, but may I please have a moment? Yes. I was taking a break from the work of very belatedly attaching snow protections to the garden trees of Mr. Green, who hurt his back in preparation of winter for the second time this year, with the help of his daughter Emerald, when a certain man spoke to me. When I turned towards the voice, I saw an unfamiliar couple with similar features, who were dressed in winter coats and carrying travel bags. Both had slightly pointy and long ears, which weren't hidden by their hair, so maybe they had elf blood in them. What happened? I put the cup of tea, without poison, brewed by Emerald nearby, stood up, took off my working gloves, and approached the pair. When I got close, both of them bowed. Is it just my imagination, or do they seem strangely used to this? While I looked closer, I realized that they were a very good-looking couple with the same brown hair and distinctive red and yellow eyes. They didn't look flashy enough to make a deep impression, but they looked down-to-earth and simple. We want to stay here. Is there any place where we can spend the night? Oh, in that case, as usual, I told them about the Inn Rainbow and the church where they could stay the night. If neither of them are available tonight, I'll invite them to my house, but that's only if they're both unavailable. I can't invite people to my house willy-nilly. And this time the pair chose to stay at the inn. I offered to show them around, but I was politely declined, with the excuse being they couldn't bear to bother me that much. Then, we will excuse ourselves. The man spoke and bowed together with the woman. It really feels like they're used to it. Could they be servants of some family? Oops. I forgot to mention that I'm the lord. I always tell people to rely on me when people of Shiki cause trouble for them. But this time I completely forgot thanks to their soft-spoken attitude and a conversation with no idle chatter. Well, it's fine. In case of an emergency, they can ask the innkeeper, and if they plan to stay for a few days, I'll take that chance to introduce myself again. They came here to stay? What a strange pair. Hey, Emerald made a rude remark as she sipped her slightly poisonous tea. She had a lot of guts to say something like that in front of her lord, but it's a little frustrating that I can't rebuke her strongly because she's not entirely wrong. A young man and a woman? Yes. When I returned to the mansion and told Lady Violet what had happened earlier in the living room, she asked with a slightly quizzical look. Shiki lacks tourist attractions. Furthermore, given the season, it's rare to see tourists that aren't merchants, not to mention a pair of a young man and a woman. They might have eloped or been on a honeymoon. However, since they had similar features, they seemed more like siblings on a trip. They might have come here after hearing the rumors of the hot spring. There's also a chance that they may enjoy visiting secluded regions. Here's your tea, sir. Yeah, that's a possibility too. And thank you, Gray. I received tea from Gray and considered the possibility. Although I haven't advertised it yet, I've announced that a hot spring has been discovered. I guess there's a possibility that they are hot spring enthusiasts who came here after hearing the rumors. And the tea seeped into my cold body. Tea and coffee brewed by Gray are far more delicious than the ones I make, even though they are supposed to be the same thing. Lord CLO, what were the characteristics of that pair? It's rare for you to be curious like that, Lady Violet. I guess. Lady Violet also received tea from Gray and sat in the chair opposite me. At first, I thought her question came from her caution towards people like Miss Schwartz, but it seemed like her questions were about something else. Both of them had shoulder-length brown hair, and they had elf characteristics, with the man having red eyes and the woman having yellow eyes. I can't take a correct guess at their ages if they're elves, but I guess they looked a little younger than me, a human. A pair of a man and a woman with brown hair and red and yellow eyes. And elf characteristics, could they have been? Oh, but Lady Violet didn't even touch the tea as they pondered about the characteristics I was recalling and muttered as if she had an idea of who they might have been. Maybe she knows them from the capital. They could have been seniors from school, acquaintances from the same noble circle, or maybe people from her paternal home. Oh, it looks like we have a visitor. I will take a look. Please do. Just as I was wondering, the mansion's doorbell rang, as if to interrupt my thoughts. Gray, who was first to react, set down the cup of tea he had brewed for himself, left the living room, and walked quickly towards the front door. I'm not waiting for anybody today, so who might it be? Maybe it's Mr. Yellow or Mrs. Blue, who've come to share rations for winter or cyans here to pester me for something. No, maybe it's the pair I saw earlier. They might have come here to greet me after deciding to stay here for a while or relocate to Shiki forever. If it's the latter, they're pretty strange, or they're perverts. No, I can't think this way as the Lord. Then, as I waited while sipping my tea, Gray returned after a while. Lord CLO, we have guests. I assume they're the people we were just talking about. They seem to have wanted to greet you, so I took them to the reception room. Got it. Gray, please make some tea. Yes, sir. As expected, the visitors were the pair from before. I took one more sip of tea and stood in front of the nearby mirror to adjust my clothes. I can't make them wait or go too fast, so I'll head for the guest room after a few seconds. Then, Lady Violet also stood up and came to me. I'll come with you, Lord CLO. As expected, you have an idea who they might be? Probably, but I'm not entirely sure. Is it okay if we greet them together? Yes, of course. I had no reasons to refuse, so I accepted her suggestion. From what I saw, it didn't seem to be a trauma related to the duel, so I'll keep an eye on her casually. I walked down the hallway of this kind of pointlessly wide mansion, stood at the front door of the guest room, took a deep breath, and opened the door. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. No, we are sorry for the sudden visit. Pleased to meet you. We are... You are? You're from earlier today. As soon as I entered the guest room, it was the same brown-haired pair from before who stood up and bowed to me. The only difference from before was the fact that they had no luggage with them, and their strong-willed yet kind gaze had changed into a wary one. Sorry to have kept you waiting. When Lady Violet came after me, her expression changed to a mixture of various emotions, like confusion and nostalgia. I had my doubts, but they're really her. As expected, it was you guys. It's been a while. Burnt Amber. Milady. Chapter 80, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _2. I apologize for my earlier impoliteness. Pleased to meet you once again, Lord CLO. My name is Burnt Bulstrode, and I served as Lady Violet's butler. And this is my younger sister. I am Amber. Pleased to make your acquaintance from now on. Thank you for your introduction. I am the Lord of Shiki, CLO Hartfield. Pleased to meet you. Please have a seat. Thank you for your concern. After seeing Lady Violet, the pair was a little distraught. Then they suddenly came to their senses, calmed down, and returned to their composed expressions. They introduced themselves to us after standing up and bowed respectfully. Apparently, they are twin half-elf siblings, and they served as Lady Violet's servants at her parental ducal house. They are 24 years old. Normally, most servants wouldn't care if the person they were serving went somewhere, because they only have a contractual relationship. But those two seem to have come to Shiki because they were worried about Lady Violet's safety. It looks like they admire her a lot. Apparently, they wanted to come rushing to Shiki from the moment Lady Violet came here, but Duke Valentine hid the information. They had only recently found out about her actual whereabouts. And after hearing the rumors about her, they immediately came running here. That's all I found out about them, but I don't think they appeared in Ring of Fire. Though, the names might have been dropped at least. I'm sorry, the letters I sent were also being censored by the person who was monitoring me. I couldn't relay the information about where I was. No, it's a blessing just to be able to see you like this. Still, I'm surprised you could find out that I was here. They looked a little reluctant to answer Lady Violet's question. However, They soon recovered, and Mr. Burnt answered in a businesslike tone with the same composed expression as before. We heard rumors about you by coincidence, milady, and followed them to this land. Rumors, huh? Yes. And we also learned of various rumors about this sheiky place where you were supposed to be, milady. While this might be rude, I was worried about whether you had gotten used to the place, as you had hardly been out of the capital. Judging from his reaction just now, they came here because they were worried about perversion in sheiky and also heard rumors about me. They probably also heard that I'm violent, embezzle funds, and that the military will arrest me as soon as I'm seen in the capital. The rumors about me in the capital are usually all like that. I see. So, you've heard the rumors about Lord CLO being abnormal Cagliostro, and were worried that I might be treated indecently. What might you be talking about? Why, yes, we don't know what you might be talking about, milady. Why is that name actually spreading? Is it them? Is it the person who I angered and who caused me to be appointed as the Lord of Shiki spreading it? That aside, those two really suck at lying. Their eyes are swimming around like crazy. You guys are really bad at making up lies on the spot. Ugh. Looks like Lady Violet also knows that they're not good at lying, since she clarified that they can't do it on spot. Maybe it's not like they're completely unable to lie. From their appearance and the way they conducted themselves before, I thought they were the types to hide their emotions, but they're actually the type of people to show exactly what they're feeling on their faces. Of course we would be worried. We heard that your broken heart was taken advantage of after you were dumped by His Highness. We heard you're being trained and have become completely dependent on the person, both physically and emotionally. That's right. We heard that you couldn't leave your husband even if you were cheated on because you were afraid of being abandoned. So you put on the slave collar on your own and even started laying your hands on young boys. Wait, where did that rumor come from? They went on offense. Maybe they're actually easy to get along with. Also, what's with that rumor? We haven't even kissed. How did I end up being painted as such a pervert? Huh, now that I think about it, we really still haven't even kissed. Wait, was that the reason why they were glaring at me earlier? If they found out that the master they love is married to a husband whose nickname is Abnormal Cagliostro and learns about a special place called Shiki, of course they would be worried. They're the type of servants who would even come all the way here. So is it true? Of course not. The siblings talked in unison and drew near while we both denied it at the same time. This was completely unthinkable. Rather than that person spreading the rumors, it's more like the information leaked from the students that came to Shiki and snowballed into those rumors. But I think they got misinterpreted too much. Then, after looking relieved at our replies, they apologized for getting close and sat back down in their original spot. I'm glad. So the rumors that you were flying in the sky while hanging onto an unknown object, borrowed the power of a black mage, and have a 10-year-old son which you gave birth to when you were 5 years old are lies too, right? Well, I did think that those were lies. Brother is such a worrywart. There is no way milady would duel a nun with her bare fists and magic, harvest poisonous herbs, and even use magic on a monster with His Highness face. No, actually that information is closer to reality. Yes, those rumors are mostly correct. Huh. They were laughing at first, but when we corrected some of their misconceptions, like the fact that it was an adopted son and not a biological one, and told them that the rumors were fairly true, they looked at us strangely and let out a small dry laugh. They seemed to have thought that we were joking, but Lady Violet added, "If you think so, it may be better to keep thinking that way. However, being flexible is also important. They're surprisingly good people if you accept them, so try to actually interact with them." When she told them, they both held their heads with the same gesture, trying to come to terms with reality. We watched them clutch their heads as we waited leisurely for Gray to make tea. Chapter 81. A Sojourn of Some Strange People _3. While Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber were holding their heads in the same pose, Gray came and brought tea with him. So we started sharing information with each other and fact-checking the rumors while drinking tea, which also served as a way to introduce Gray and calm him down. As a result, everything they thought was true turned out to be false, and most of what they thought were false turned out to be true. Why can't I just say that? Rumors are usually all like that. It's really strange. By the way, what are you guys going to do now? I did hear from Lord CLO that you would be staying at the inn. Yes, we plan to stay here for a while. To be honest, after hearing the rumors, we even thought about taking Milady to the Empire or Republic, depending on the situation. After that, Mr. Burnt looked at me in gray and then returned his gaze to Lady Violet. I am relieved to see you in good health, Milady. In this case, we don't even need to do anything. I see. Sorry for making you worry about my safety. However, the fact that they were willing to go abroad for Lady Violet, who's the daughter of their employer, makes me think that they really love her. When Lady Violet came to Shiki, she was accompanied by her father's people. They were sent here to monitor her and would never be on her side. And I had heard that those who were close to her to some extent weren't told where she went so she wouldn't cause unnecessary trouble. From these points, I knew that those two would be her close attendants. Yeah, Milady will be cooking. Milady, who looked at me with disdainful eyes while saying that it wasn't something she was supposed to do when I offered to teach her how to cook. Sorry about that. I can tell that they're close with each other just by observing their conversation. But this is unexpected. This might sound rude, but I had thought that when she was at the capital, Lady Violet was strong-willed and stubborn, and she didn't have many allies that she could call close friends. So I'm happy she had people she could talk to like this. Mr. Burnt, Ms. Amber, if you don't mind, would you like to stay at my mansion for the duration of your stay? I don't know how long you will be staying, but the longer you stay, the more you will spend on your accommodations. No, we can't possibly inconvenience you. Don't hold back. This house is big, but it's only me, Lord CLO, and Gray here. We have spare rooms too, so 2 more people won't cause any problems. Lady Violet, I think it'll be very hard for them to refuse if you word it that way. In fact, they look like they have a hard time. Wait, that's not the expression of refusal. It's not a troubled expression, but rather a surprised one. You 3 are the only ones in this mansion? Yes, I'm embarrassed to say that we don't have the luxury of hiring many people. Besides, it's not in my nature to have too many servants. Is that so? Ms. Amber asked as if she were confirming something. I don't know the details of how they came to serve in Duke Valentine's residence now, but the Duke's residence probably has dozens of servants residing in an even larger mansion than mine. So compared to that, it's true that it might be a strange sight to have Gray as the only attendant. What's more, Gray is actually my son, so it's questionable whether he can be called servant. Milady, I heard earlier that you were doing the cooking, but do you perhaps also do the laundry and cleaning yourself too? Yeah, everyone is responsible for cleaning their own rooms and washing their underwear, but we usually take turns. Milady does it herself. Come to think of it, Lady Violet has become quite used to doing housework like laundry and cleaning. I remember that she had a hard time in the beginning when she would end up making more mess after trying to clean in a hurry and burning cooking utensils when trying to cook. However, since Lady Violet was a fast learner, she got used to it fairly quickly. I used to say that it wasn't something I had to do, but now that I've tried it, it's surprisingly this won't do. Fun. Perhaps Lady Violet's words were unexpected to them. They leaned forward again and started approaching us. What's with this really bad premonition I'm having? It feels like somebody who I thought was a normal person suddenly became unhinged chartreuse is the most recent example that comes to mind. Milady, it's fine to clean your own room to improve self-discipline. However, even though you're a baroness now, you are still a former daughter of a duke. As somebody of a noble birth, you should leave taking care of the surroundings to the servants. That's the reason for why we even exist. Be burnt. That's right. The way you space out for 5 minutes when you wake up in the morning, the way you started growing out your hair after you heard that His Highness liked long hair, the way you almost started crying when you were trying to overcome your hate for tomatoes. You should only show those weaknesses to servants close to you. Hey, stop it, Amber. Is that so? Lady Violet seemed level-headed in the mornings, but she had that kind of side to her, too. And she actually used to hate tomatoes. Also, maybe they not only admire Lady Violet, they're also just... Since Lord CLO and Gray are men, they can't fully take care of you, milady. There are bound to be some tasks that you can't leave to someone of the opposite sex, such as changing your clothes, taking care of your hair, and assisting you with bathing. No, nobody has assisted me with bathing ever since I was a child. We can't stay like this. We have to make preparations right this instant, younger sister. Yes, brother. I feel bad for Rainbow's innkeeper, but we must tell him that we will start working at this mansion from now on, to take care of Milady's personal needs. Wait, I heard that you guys came here on a vacation. Yes, of course, Milady. That's why we will be taking a vacation from working at the house of Duke Valentine and start working here instead. Since we're still on a vacation, we don't need wages. What? All right, I get it. They're the type of people who are workaholics and worship differences in status. They're what I would call corporate slaves in my previous life. Looking at them, I started thinking that perhaps they're fully qualified to become citizens of Shiki. Lord CLO, was I mistaken? I thought that a vacation is for playing around and resting. No, you are right, so you shouldn't imitate them, Gray. Chapter 82. A Sojourn of Some Strange People _4. I, Amber Bulstrode, still don't trust a man called CLO Hartfield. I appreciate that you want to work for us, but are you really sure you want to do it? Lord CLO, we are of a much lower status than you. There is no need to talk to us with honorifics. Since you are a master as well, we will do anything you order us to. To start with, it would be unreasonable to expect me to trust a man who I've only met a few days ago. It's true that when I first saw him, he looked like a good person who lived in this area, and it didn't seem like talking to him would cause any problems, but that's not enough reasons to let my guard down. According to the rumors, he's violent, lustful, and has relationships with many women. I also heard he is vain, arrogant, and jealous. Milady also said that rumors should only be used as a reference, but as long as there's fuel for those rumors to exist, we should be careful. Although Milady is less prickly as before, she's still acting resolutely, but it's possible that she's acting calm to avoid worrying us. There's also a chance that she's secretly under hypnosis due to some mental magic. If that's the case, my brother and I have to protect her. I understand. You'll have to get used to honorifics gradually, but I would much appreciate it if you could please take care of Lady Violet's needs and help Gray instead of heeding my orders. It will be easier that way. I try to act more eager, but it looks like CLO Hartfield is different from the nobles I've served until now. If anything, it feels more appropriate to call him a family-oriented commoner who lives in a slightly wealthy family. In any case, for now I'll put all those aside and take care of Milady for the first time in a long while. Milady, Lady Violet Valentine, now known as Lady Hartfield, the former master of my brother and I, who's dignified, noble, full of beauty and talent, and worthy of being the queen. Technically, we are serving Lady Violet's father, but that's irrelevant. I'm able to serve Milady again. There is no greater joy than this. Frankly speaking, I'm planning to fully understand the current situation at the Hartfield family over the next few days, quit the Valentine family, and come here. I don't know yet whether I will also serve CLO Hartfield as my master at that time, or take Lady Violet with me. But I will enjoy this happiness first. I'll start with cleaning the mansion first. It's small compared to the Duke's residence, but it's spacious enough to need 3 people to clean it. Gray, who's treated as a secretary, is excellent at his work and takes meticulous care of the details, but he's missed some things. All 3 of us must work together to create a space suitable for Milady to live in. My brother and I like cleanliness. In my case, it's because there aren't any unnecessary odors in a well-cleaned space. To enjoy the fragrance that I love, the air, dust, and humidity must be in perfect condition. Oh, Lord Burnt and Lady Amber do a wonderful job of cleaning. I could never come close to this level of perfection. Gray is quite good at giving compliments. His praise is pure, without any ulterior motives. He's not being calculating and manipulative. And I can also see that he's not just praising us, but is also trying to learn from us. He also seems to be a nobleman, but as expected, he's also not like other nobles. There are some nobles who serve as attendants when they are young, but in Gray's case, he feels more like a servant like us than a nobleman. And Gray always smells slightly sweet. It's a sweet fragrance stemming from the underdeveloped pheromones that's characteristic of boyhood and love for cleanliness. Later, when I teach him how to clean, I will get close to his body and enjoy the scent that comes directly from his body, after which I will enjoy the change in fragrance over time emitted from the things he wears. Sullivan, WTF? Next is cooking. I was shocked to hear that Milady herself had been cooking, but looks like even CLO Hartfield cooks here. It's a given that the person of the lower status will be doing the cooking, so it's surprising that he would do it himself. But all of them seem to have similar proficiency. However, when it comes to cooking, my brother and I have no equals. Fufu. I was able to see Milady eat for the first time in a long while. Next comes laundry. At the Hartfield residence, everybody takes turns to do laundry except for their underwear. They typically deal with their own underwear themselves. It's like they take turns to make sure that nobody is washing the underwear of the opposite sex. I generally like the smell of sweat, but I prefer the smell of the washed clothes that are mixed with the smell of the sun. In order to enjoy that, I must wash each item separately. That being said, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of clothes that aren't expensive, but are well-tailored. I wash clothes of CLO Hartfield and Gray one after another. They don't seem to be the types to pile up clothes, so it ended quickly. And finally came Milady's clothes. I can't believe this. I feel so much longing just because I haven't been able to touch them for a few months. I was prepared to not see her for a while when she started attending school, but she got married out of nowhere, and I had no idea where or who she married to. Being unable to intake the new dose of Milady's essence for a while, I started developing Milady deficiency syndrome. It's been a long time since I've touched clothes worn by Milady, but what about now? It's been a long time since I've smelled Milady's raw fragrance and her fresh clothes in my hand. Milady is a wonderful person. She's beautiful enough that even I'm fascinated by her despite also being a woman. Her academic ability, mana, and athletic abilities are so refined that I could never match her. And more than anything, Milady's fragrance is the best out of all my previous masters. This isn't good. I have to endure it. Wasn't I also holding back at the Duke's residence? No, that was because Milady was always nearby, so I could always replenish on her essence. But can I actually manage to be patient while receiving her frontier ions at such a short distance for the first time in a while? No, I cannot. I might as well just put it in my mouth. That's right. What if I just put it in mouth that wants to hold back this feeling? Wouldn't I be able to replenish the lacking essence all at once by taking them in excessive amounts? No, calm down. This makes me sound like a pervert. I just like the fragrance emitted by humans and elves, and I'm no pervert by any means. It's not like I will feel the scent better just by putting it in my mouth anyway. I was totally out of my mind. Okay, I'll do it all at once. But my body doesn't do as I want it to. Why? Why are Milady's minus ions so appealing? Please don't. My arm was grabbed, and CLO Hartfield stopped me from bringing Milady's clothes closer. That's strange. I was paying close attention to make sure that nobody else was here, but I didn't notice his presence. Could a ninja from an eastern country have disguised themselves as CLO Hartfield? Is something wrong, Lord CLO? Please don't act innocent. What were you trying to do with Lady Violet's clothes? Tasting? Please don't say it as if you were testing wine. Ms. Amber, you simply adore Lady Violet, right? CLO Hartfield looked at me suspiciously and asked me a question. How rude. When you look at me like that, it almost makes me seem like a pervert. Fine, I'll dispel those doubts of yours. My brother and I adore Milady. Yes, the reason why we first started admiring Lady Violet was simple, because she did not consider us disposable. We have served many people since we were children, but even a slight mistake would result in unreasonable violence in the name of punishment or discipline, and we would easily be fired. However, while the Valentine family was strict, they weren't unreasonable, and we received sufficient compensation for our conduct. When it was decided that we would serve as Milady's attendants, we decided to do our best to live up to the expectations. Okay, I can see well that you two are excellent at your work, and that Lady Violet trusts you a lot. Thank you very much. It's embarrassing to be told so again, but let's leave it at that. However, the education of the Valentine family was strict, and Milady continued to receive an even stricter education to improve herself. It was so she would not embarrass herself in the future as somebody who was the candidate to become the mother of the nation. When we saw the sight of a child much younger than us working hard to strive for the future, at first we thought that the world we lived in and our viewpoints as living beings were very different. We looked at her as if she lived above the clouds. However, one day, for the first and last time ever, I saw Milady crying alone in her room, so nobody would see her. At first, she was distraught that my brother and I had seen her, and she tried to act firm. However, as we listened to her stories one by one, we came to a very natural conclusion that she was still a child. Since she was a child, it was natural for her to complain, and we realized at that moment that we were not looking at the person we were serving. When I told her that there was no one else there, and that it was okay for her to complain to us, Milady buried her face in my chest and cried quietly. So something like that happened. Huh? Yes. And that's when I realized that her fragrance was wonderful. He gave me a questioning look for some reason, but I didn't dwell on it. My brother and I thought that from now on, we would serve Milady to help her. We would support her so that she could become a strong queen. When I realized that if I did so, I would always be able to enjoy this wonderful fragrance, my world changed forever. I love the warm fragrance that she emits when Milady sweats from her training. I love Milady's fragrance mixed with perfume oil that wafts from her hair and from her flushed cheeks after her bath, which she takes to maintain her beauty and to relieve her exhaustion. I love Milady's fragrance mixed with paper and ink that permeates her room when she studies late into the night. I love all sorts of fragrances that come from Milady. It's such a blessing to be able to serve her. I have sometimes wondered why I liked her so much. But one day we came to a certain conclusion. It's because Milady is a noble and a proud person that we came to love her so much. That's why I decided to support my noble master. My feelings of love for her will not lose to anybody, even my brother. Oh no, those siblings were unhinged in a different way all along. Once again, very rude. That makes it sound like me and my brother are perverts. Chapter 83, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _5. I, Burnt Bulstrode, don't fully trust CLO Hartfield just yet. 1. I only met him a few days, and 2. I know very little about him to draw a conclusion on his character. Well, I doubt he trusts me either, so I suppose the feeling is mutual. Lord CLO is a perfectly fine gentleman. He accepts me for who I am and cherishes me as his wife. However, judging from what Milady has to say about him, he doesn't sound like a bad person. It was plain from Milady's tone that she wasn't lying, and her expression made it obvious that she was in love with him. As jealous as it makes me, I still find it a million times better than Milady living with someone she finds unpleasant, so I can let it slide. Burnt, I'm happy that you adore me, but I assure you I can fulfill my duties without you sticking to me like glue. That won't do, Milady. A butler is supposed to be ready to assist his master at any and all times, as it has always been since my days of serving you at House Valentine. I stayed close to Milady, who apparently had some work to do outdoors. I walked one step behind her, ready to help at any moment. Milady absolutely cannot be burdened with any of the things she was forced to do when she first arrived here. Round the clock, I should make sure to pick up any slack so nothing bothers her. You're not wrong, but, well, never mind. I know I said it was work, but I'm only going to be taking a look around the barony. In other words, I'm only going to ascertain if anyone's in trouble or if anything needs resolving. Yes, Milady, I understand. It is the duty of a lord to be aware of what goes on in their domain. That's right. It's good that you know. I tagged after Milady, remembering my way around Shiki that I had mapped out in my mind. Frankly speaking, I think surveying a land and its residents is part of the duty of servants like Gray or me, or something we should hire a specialist for. But it's no mistake for a lord to do it themselves. I shall refrain from interfering with Milady's work in any way. I shall protect her from any errant daggers or people. I'm sure it's not going to be easy in more ways than one, but I trust you to support me as best as you can. Nevertheless, Milady's words were concerning. Come to think of it, Milady mentioned that one needs to be flexible in order to adapt to life in Shiki. I wonder what that was all about. This barony is strange. I've been racking my brains to understand what had surpassed as I stood in the guest room allotted to me in the Hartfield mansion. My confusion was not about Milady greeting the residents or taking a look around town. Nor was it about the fact that Milady had made a friend around her age, which made me both discontent and happy at the same time. It was about the aforementioned resident/friend. What manner of creature is she? Hey, Sister Cyan, has anything been troubling you lately? HM? Oh, Io. Hi. I can't say there is. Huh. I see. If there is, then don't hesitate to let me know. Gotcha. By the way, who's the guy with you? He was my attendant back in the Valentine Mansion. We've been reunited after some time, and he's been helping me with my work. Oh, I'll come greet him later. Until then, high up. Sister Cyan climbed the church wall barehanded and proceeded to fix the roof tiles. She happens to be the only nun in this land, and a battle-type one at that. I've heard she teaches the kids the alphabet, keeps them entertained, and is also a friend of Milady's. But what exactly is a battle-type nun? She'd apparently place in the top 3 among the residents, in regards to pure combat strength without any magic buffs. I would have expected that much from a battle-type nun. But seriously, what does it mean? That aside, I find it a little annoying that she scaled the church wall so effortlessly and neatly. I heard all about you, that you were Violet's battle knight. I am Apricot, the magnificent mage who rules over the dark and fleeting light. I welcome you into my brethren. Watch out, milady. It could be some new manner of mental attack. It's okay. She only means to say, I heard you were a servant of Violet's. I'm a mage who can expertly wield both dark and fire magic, and I also happen to be Gray's master. Nice to meet you. MMPH, I see you're starting to understand me, Lady Violet. Apparently Milady is good friends with the girl who spouts nonsense too. I rather wish Milady would maintain her distance from nut jobs like Apricot, but she seems to be the best mage in this domain, and her destructive power is apparently so great that her name has gone down in the annals of the Academy's history. Moreover, she appears to be one of the top 3 cooks in Shiki, and her clothing are all supposedly handmade. As such, I hear there's a lot one could learn from her, but I'm still not altogether convinced. Plus, the residents only get weirder. Hey, Violet, could you pass these along to CLO? It's a share. Sure. Thanks, Orchid. Your vegetables and mushrooms are really delicious. We appreciate you always giving us some. The very suspicious-looking dark mage was apparently one of the good Samaritans living here. Are you hurt? You're hurt, right? Rest assured, you're in good hands now that I'm here. In fact, I'll fix you up so well, you'll be as good as new. His treatment methods and the noises he makes are certainly something. He's so skilled at his job that it almost feels like his noises are some kind of rhythm he's working to. The doctor with questionable conduct and expressions seems to be among the top healers in the kingdom. Hey, the medicine prescribed to you should be running out or expiring soon. I had your prescription refilled. Oh, I appreciate it. Sorry, but I'll have to compensate you later. Also take this medicine. It helps you puke your guts out, and this, it helps you enjoy the prickling, tingling sensation that comes after numbness. No, thanks. Those just sound like poison. Upon Milady's refusal, the apothecary, poison-resistant, who swallowed said poisons, was also apparently quite skilled. Hello, that's a face I haven't seen around here. Oh, yeah, you are the one who was Violet's servant before she came here. Nice to meet you. Call me Robot. Here, take a Keneal as a welcome gift. Also, what exactly is that? Why is that strange life form strutting about the town like normal? It also appears to be on good terms with Milady. Though I could never take a liking to its broken speech, its mechanical and whirring sounds filled my heart with joy for some reason. It may very well be romanticism, but I felt like it had walked straight out of the storybooks I used to read as a child, and it filled me with strange admiration. There was no end to the weirdos. Someone who kisses the vegetables they pick up. A 7-year-old kid who looks like an adult. A gigantic man who loves exercising and muscles. A man, presumably in his 40s, with handmade bunny ears on his head. A woman who breathes heavily at the sight of knives. A man who could only talk about love, etc. There were still a lot of things Milady wasn't accustomed to, but I smiled, pleased that her world was expanding. She may have changed and lost some of her dignity as a noble, but seeing her smile only brings me joy. That said, I'm glad to see that the thing I like about her hasn't changed. It calls for a celebration all the more. In a few months I was separated from Milady. My yearning for her grew stronger with every passing day. I had steeled myself when I realized I wouldn't be able to see Milady for a while she attended the academy. But she had gotten married before I knew it, and I also had no knowledge of the location of her new home. Some months passed this way, and unable to get a fresh, regular dose of Milady, I was suffering from a severe case of Milady deficiency. Hearing Milady's voice in person after so long. However, now it's different. Blessed with Milady's voice after an eternity, I now hold a magic tool, a sound source capable of temporarily holding a recording of Milady's voice. Even this little outing was very fruitful in that I was able to record various different sounds from Milady. Milady is a wonderful person. She has the kind of beauty that inspires respect rather than lust in me, someone of the opposite sex. Her academic, magic, and athletic abilities are leagues superior to the likes of me. Also, of no lesser importance by any means, the sounds that escape Milady's lips are more heavenly than anyone I've ever served could produce. Milady's voice, her heartbeat, the sound of her hair fluttering in the wind, the sound of the touch of her slender, pretty fingers. Any and all sounds of hers are absolutely breathtaking. This won't do. I need to control myself. Haven't I persevered since my days of serving Milady in the Duke's mansion? No, wait. Back then I was always by Milady's side, so I had a steady supply of her sound. Can I even hold back now that I've heard Milady's flux sound in such close quarters? No, I can't. Might as well just swallow. No, stop. Calm down. What's the use of holding the magic recording tool in my mouth? Wait, sound is made up of vibrations. By letting the vibrations oscillate through my body, I could feel and be healed by them from within, wouldn't I? I see. Then it can't be helped. In that case, it wouldn't be too strange to down it in one gulp. Yeah, one gulp it is. My body listens to my demands, and I attempt to swallow the recording device with Milady's voice in one breath. Oh, why? Why is it that the sound of Milady's heartbeat so bewitching? Please don't do it. What? I was interrupted by CLO Hartfield just as I was about to do the deed. He grasped my arm to stop me. This is strange. I ensured there was nobody else in the vicinity, so no other sound would mix into and contaminate Milady's. Nor did I feel anyone's presence. And yet, how did CLO Hartfield come to be here? Lord CLO, is something the matter? Don't give me that. What exactly were you trying to do with a magic tool that contains Lady Violet's voice? I was thinking of finding a place for Milady's voice in my body. I regret to inform you that's probably impossible. If I may clarify something, am I right in assuming that your affections for Lady Violet don't go beyond what's considered appropriate? CLO Hartfield looked at me with slightly weary eyes and a suspicious expression on his face. How rude. His suspicious gaze makes me look like a pervert. Well then, I should dispel him of any such delusions. My sister and I adore Milady. All right, CLO Hartfield replied after a strange pause and listened to my side of the story. I told him about why my sister and I adore Milady. I told him about how among all the nobility we had served, not many were actually noble in the true sense of the word. And though House Valentine was strict, it was never unreasonable. And how Milady, as the daughter of the Duke, had spared no effort to be a worthy future queen. And how he had first treated Milady as someone living on a plane far elevated from us mere mortals, until we witnessed Milady crying in her room alone. And how that moment made us realize that we had been seeing Milady through rose-tinted glasses. When we assured Milady that she should feel free to tell us anything, or even whine, Milady had buried her face on my sister's chest and silently shed tears. That's when a thought crossed my mind. What a wonderful voice. It's just as I suspected. I wonder what exactly it is that he suspects. Continuing on, the moment I heard Milady's cries, my needlessly sharp ears found the sounds escaping Milady's lips wonderful. That is when my sister and I made up our minds. Starting then, We decided we would do everything to help Milady, that we'd serve her to the best of our abilities so she may be a regal and authoritative queen. When I realized that by doing so, I'd be able to enjoy her magnificent sound at any time, my world changed completely. I love the sound of Milady's resolute voice the most. I love the sound of Milady's rapid heartbeat and quick breathing that can be heard when she's sweating away training. I love the sound of warm sighs that escape Milady's lips after a bath she takes at the end of a long day to refresh and to maintain her beauty. I love the sound of Milady's pen scratching away at her paper during her sleepless nights of study and her appreciative tone when I enter the room with refreshments. I love any and all manner of sounds that Milady produces. I thank my lucky stars for this opportunity to be able to serve such an amazing lady. We have wondered why we love Milady so wholeheartedly, but at some point we have found the answer. We love Milady precisely because she's an aristocrat and a dignified one at that. And that is why I decided to serve my majestic lady. I'm second to none in my adoration for Milady, not even my sister. Maybe it's because they are twins, but they are both unhinged in different yet similar ways. Again, how rude. You're making my sister and I out to be some kind of perverts. Alternate title: innately abnormal brother Amber Bulstrode height, around 160 centimeters hair color, burr number eye color, Amber age, 24 years species, half-elf fetish, smells, limited to body odors, burnt Bulstrode height, around 170 centimeters hair color, burr number eye color, burr number age, 24 years species, half-elf fetish, body sounds, heartbeat, voice and so on. Chapter 84, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _6. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber are siblings that are very good at their jobs. They can clean faster than us, and even their finish is beautiful. Even though we use the same ingredients, the food they make has a deeper flavor and is much more delicious. In addition, they do household chores as quietly as possible to not disturb us while we're working, and they do it flawlessly, with no unnecessary movements. That's fine. Their professionalism is a result of years of hard work serving others. It looks like Lady Violet trusts both Mr. Burnt, who's a man, and Ms. Amber, who's a woman, equally in gray, also said that he wanted to learn how servants worked. That's all fine, but I want them to know this. I think it's safe to say that people who get excited by sounds and scents are perverts. Haha, you must be joking. In my room, where neither Lady Violet nor Gray were present, I explained what I'd seen to Ms. Burnt and Ms. Amber, and they laughed out of courtesy, thinking that I, their master, was making a joke. But I'm sorry, I wasn't joking. I also have favorite smells and sounds. It's perverted, but I also like Lady Violet's fragrance and voice. But it doesn't arouse me sexually that much. At the very least, I don't try to bury my face in her worn clothes and sniff them, and I don't get heavily excited about the idea of putting them in my mouth. I don't get excited at the sound of her heartbeat and her bones rattling. Furthermore, I don't think about keeping recorded sounds inside my body. I'm not saying that being a pervert is bad, but what's bad is for the people in question to act in a perverted manner without realizing it, and as a result, harm the person who's become the target of their aforementioned perversion. I would like to avoid letting Lady Violet get traumatized, but I feel like their interest is extending to Gray too, so I want them to have more self-awareness. I don't want my family to be hurt. We aren't even excited, right, brother? Yeah, exactly. We both love Milady's sound and fragrance, but there is no way it would excite us, Lord CLO. That's right. We would never lust for somebody as noble as Milady. We have inherited sharp senses from our half-elf blood. Brother has keen hearing, while I have an outstanding sense of smell. Other than that, we are not much different from humans, so our sharp senses have become more sensitive. That's why we end up reacting to good sounds and scents. Oh, I see. This is the reason why Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber don't think that they're perverts. They think that they simply like sounds and scents and don't realize that they get aroused by them. I think this problem would have been solved in a second if I could use a video camera to show them how they acted in the moment, but there are no small machines that could record images in this world. Robot might have something similar, though. I can imagine her having some incomprehensible functions. I see. Then please let me ask you a question. If you find it difficult to answer, you don't have to answer. Ms. Amber, if you think that this is sexual harass, unpleasant sexual behavior, you can refuse to answer. This is not an order. Yes, it's fine. I shall answer everything sincerely, without hiding anything. Even if it is temporary, you are our master, Lord CLO. I'm not going to say that I was improperly victimized. Their spirit is admirable. But if this had been a Japanese company in my previous life, that would have been an extremely dangerous statement. Pondering things like I started the confirmation process in the form of asking questions. Impossible? Are you saying that I was aroused by Milady's voice and the sound coming from her body? Impossible. Are you saying that I was aroused by Milady's fragrance? After an hour of questioning, Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber had their hands on the ground in a devastated pose and appeared to be shocked by their own actions. They didn't believe me at first, but perhaps thanks to having worked at Shiki for a while, when I compared them to the residents of Shiki and confirmed their actions and how they felt in the moment, they gradually became less talkative. They eventually finally realized how people around them would evaluate their actions. I feel a bit complicated that comparing them to the Shiki residents worked the most, though. Brother, does this mean that we've been acting in a perverted manner towards Milady until now? No way, Amber. Milady was degraded and had her engagement with His Highness Vermilion broken because we did something disrespectful. No, that was because Lady Violet got jealous of that other girl and went on a rampage, so it had nothing to do with you guys. I can't believe our actions caused Milady's dignity to fall. In that case, there's only one thing we can do, Amber. Yes, brother. I understand. I have a bad feeling about this. Milady should be the one to judge us, at least. Yes, let's confess everything and be executed. Please wait. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber tried to run towards Lady Violet as soon as they made up their minds. So I grabbed the back collar of their butler and made uniforms that they had apparently brought themselves and stopped them. If I didn't stop them, they'd probably really go to talk with her. And if they didn't get executed, they might really end up cutting their stomachs themselves. Please let us go, Lord CLO. At least when I die, I want to meet my end while surrounded by Milady's noble scent. That's right. I want Milady's noble voice to be the last one I hear. I want to meet my end while surrounded by Milady's heartbeat. So please let me go. But brother, won't Milady give off a different scent while looking down on us? You're right. I want to hear Milady's voice as she completely scorns us. Hey, why are you guys secretly trying to fulfill your own desires? Or rather, I'm not going to let Lady Violet do that kind of thing. If servants who've served you for many years were to die while aroused by your voice and smell until the very end, you might end up traumatized for the rest of your life. To start with, if perverted conduct was enough to get you executed, most of Shiki residents would be goners. True, I can't believe they were actually convinced. But I did say it because I thought it was true, so I'm glad I was able to stop their rampage. For now, I have to make them calm down, not deny their love for scents and sounds, and explain that while some people might call them perverts, I don't want them to deny what they love. Besides, if you guys get executed, you won't be able to fulfill your purpose of protecting and transporting me, Lady Violet in Gray. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber froze up at my words. Chapter 85, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _7. At first I thought that it was just a vacation. I thought that since they loved Lady Violet so much and were worried about the rumors, I thought they wanted to be by her side, even if they had to use up their rest days. Next, I thought that they were observing us. I thought that perhaps they would observe us in those few days and decide whether they would take Lady Violet away or come to Shiki to work for us, depending on the circumstances. In the end, it turned out that I was right on both accounts. But apart from that, I also found out that they had received an order from the Valentine family. Lady Violet doesn't know this yet, but they have been put in charge of guarding and transporting us for our next scheduled trip to the capital, or more concretely, to the Azalea Academy School Festival. That's right. I must fulfill my duty for Milady's sake. If we do anything wrong at this time of the year, Milady will be forcibly taken away. If this was just an invitation sent to somebody related to the Academy, they would have sent a word to the Valentine family or my parental house and not come. But since this is a royal invitation, functionally an imperial edict, they can't ignore it either. Rather, not going would look worse. Since they found out about Lady Violet's whereabouts through rumors, they probably wanted to make up a purpose and make it easier for other watchdogs to have a grasp of her actions rather than antagonize her by acting out. If that happens, my duties will be lifted, my actions will be restricted, and I will never be able to smell Milady's fragrance. So I have to endure it. Endure it. If we don't look for a better timing, her reputation might be damaged. I don't want to hear an anxious sound from Milady. Well, Valentine family probably couldn't even imagine that they had those kinds of fetishes and loved Lady Violet enough that they would contemplate taking her away. Lord CLO, it's okay now, so can you please let us go? Ah, yes. After they regained their composure, my words, I let go of their collars. I'm glad they didn't go crazy in a weird way. For the time being, I need both of them to control their emotions. By the way, Lord CLO, are you wearing some kind of perfume? After I let them go and they turned to face me again, I was worried about what to start talking about when Ms. Amber asked me with a questioning look on her face. No, not really. Do I smell weird by chance? My apologies. That is not the case. I just smelled a strangely good smell when you grabbed me just now. Is that so? I smell good? I don't get told that much about this. But unfortunately, I don't use perfume. I sometimes wear a light fragrance in social situations, but it's too expensive to use on a daily basis, and I'm not a big fan of it either. I've just finished working outside, so I had expected that Ms. Amber, who has a keen sense of smell, would hate it instead. I don't know what to think about this. I have a bad feeling, as if something that I know is impossible is going to happen. Lord CLO, may I ask you a question? Yes, go ahead. Then, Mr. Byrne also asked a question, as if Ms. Amber's question had also made him question something, or as if he had realized something. Lord CLO, you usually use honorifics not only with us, but also with Milady, but that is not the case with everybody, correct? Well, yes. I don't use honorifics with people like Gray and Cyan. In other words, you talk with them with the same voice and tone as the "hey now" you said a moment ago. Embarrassingly enough, you would be right. I see. You have a nice voice, Lord CLO. Well, thank you very much. Where did this come from so suddenly? Okay, really, where are they going with this? I have a really bad premonition. I feel like I'm in the kind of danger where I have to get away from them right this instant. I feel a great need to tell them that they're misunderstanding something. Despite my bad premonition, Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber made eye contact for some reason and had a silent conversation, after which they nodded to each other and turned towards me. Lord CLO, may I suggest something? Whether I accept or not depends on the suggestion itself, but please go ahead. We love Milady. This is a fact unrelated to her scent or sound. This is something I want you to understand very well. Yes, after seeing that situation, I'm not sure if I can agree without hesitation, but I do understand that. Sounds and scents might have been a part of the reason why they were so enthusiastic to serve Valentine family, but they continued to support Lady Violet, so she could become the mother of the nation, due to their strong feelings of admiration towards her, rather than a sense of duty or leaving things to a chance, and Lady Violet came to trust them as well. However, it is also true that we like scents and sounds. We have come to a realization with your words, Lord CLO, but if we keep suppressing our desires while interacting with Milady, we will surely lose control one day. More specifically, I will bury my face in Milady's body to listen to the sounds inside her through my whole body, and my sister will continue to hug Milady and take deep breaths. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be a problem. Mr. Burnt is completely out of question, and while Ms. Amber might be a girl, that would be dangerous in various ways. And if this did happen, Lady Violet would most likely start to feel afraid of interacting with others. Therefore, we had an idea. In order to stop ourselves from running out of control, we should replenish our deficits every now and then in small quantities. Replenish in small quantities? Yes. By the way, Lord CLO, I was so distracted by Milady's fragrance that I didn't notice it. But you also smell good, just like Milady in gray. Pardon? And you also have a nice voice, just like Milady in gray. I see. So this is what they're implying. You want to use gray and me to split the objects of your desires. Is that what you were trying to say? Yes. You are absolutely right. Don't you? Yes, you're absolutely right, me. You freaks. Have their desires become more pronounced as a result of them becoming self-aware? If that's what happens, is it my fault? Won't your desires only grow if the number of targets increases? Just like opium. No, it's important to replenish, no matter how small. It's something like water to us. We don't need a surplus. I see. If an action window appeared right now, it would probably be fight, run away, persuade. If it was Ms. Creamhill, who's the heroine of Ring of Fire, her choices might have been. Is your head okay? All right, come on. If you beat me in a fight, I'll fulfill your wish. The correct answer in this case is probably the third one. All right, why don't I use her as an example? If you beat her, me in a fight, I will fulfill your wish. If I win, you will ask the residents of Shiki to work together with you and find a way to help you endure your urges, and until I decide that your problem has been solved, I will not let you get close to Lady Violet in Gray. By the way, the same will happen if you refuse combat. What if we win? I will provide you with my voice and scent in any situation you like. Other than that, I will make sure that you can work in the same room as Lady Violet in Gray during your stay, and I will let you stay as close to us as possible during escorting missions. Please refrain from touching anyone other than me as much as possible, though. Let's do it. We are trained to protect Milady. We will not go easy on you. All right, it was the right choice. As expected from Ms. Creamhill, in my mind. If I imagine what kind of choice she would make, things seem to go pretty well. I kind of feel like this is just my imagination, but I must be imagining it. Then there was a knock on the door, and when I replied that it was okay to come in, Lady Violet entered the room. I'm sorry, Lord CLO. I can't seem to find Burnt and Amber. Oh, you guys were here? Burnt. Amber, it's almost time for dinner, but nobody seems to have prepared anything. Should we do the preparations? My deepest apologies, milady. Right now, we have to participate in a battle that we cannot afford to lose. We will prepare dinner after that. Amber, milady, I won't lose. I cannot afford to lose in order to protect my dignity. Burnt? What's going on, Lord CLO? Something seems strange, Lady Violet. I won't lose. I will win this battle for the sake of our family. Lord CLO? Chapter 86, A Sojourn of Some Strange People on Earth. We were rightfully scolded by Lady Violet that we shouldn't fight unnecessarily in order to sit and wait in my room to reflect. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber also realized they had been acting crazy, and perhaps having reflected on the trouble they had caused, they sat in their chairs with their backs straight and waited, barely moving. I also needlessly provoked them, so I was similarly on standby. I thought about making a conversation with them, but it's hard to talk with them in the current state, and if we talked a lot, there would be no point in reflecting, so a strange silence was dominating the room. Lord CLO, may I express my gratitude? Then, after a while, Ms. Amber spoke up. I was a little taken aback by her sudden words, but it looked like she required my answer, so I braced myself and replied. What happened all of a sudden? I'm not going to let you smell me. You don't need to be so cautious. That is not what I meant. Wasn't trying to satisfy her desires by flattering me and making me let my guard down. I relaxed my guard and asked her why she wanted to thank me out of nowhere. If it was the past milady, she would never scold us, even if we made a mistake. She would simply give us a word or two of warning, and that would be the end of it. Really? Yes. She never used to show emotions other than a superficial smile and anger before. Usually, when she scolds us, she would coldly tell us be careful or don't do it next time. That's something that I can't imagine from the current Lady Violet. But she did have that kind of side to her in Ring of Fire. An emotional person who was usually unfriendly and very strict about discipline, only showed affection toward His Highness and was jealous of the heroine, who loved His Highness, trying to intimidate her. In other words, she was strict with others. I felt a little prickled just now. I wonder why. Not only did we not find anything wrong with it, we even thought that she was supposed to be that way. We thought that because she was a noble being and was supposed to become the mother of the nation, unlike us, she should not show her emotions carelessly. In our minds, she was the perfect person to lead the people. In order to become a so-called noble, upright queen, she didn't need extra emotions. I guess that's what she was taught to be in, and since I don't know anything about education, I have no intention of questioning whether it's right or wrong. Whether this method suits them or not depends on the individual. So, frankly speaking, when I heard that she was friends with Cyan, Apricot, and that other being who speaks in incomprehensible broken language, I thought that they were unsuited for her. I thought that since she's a noble, the commoners were unfit to be friends with her. Robot, Ms. Amber treats you like an incomprehensible being. There are many aspects of her that I don't understand either, so Ms. Amber isn't exactly wrong either. However, when I look at Milady as of late, I've mysteriously come to think that the current Milady may be better than before. In what way, for example? She was happy at our arrival, showed affection towards Lord CLO and Grey. She also seemed to be having fun showing us around Shiki. Milady's voice when talking to her friends was the most upbeat I've ever heard, and her happy smile wasn't fake. Then, they both looked confused and at a loss for words. Is it okay to say more? Is it okay to deny the past? That's the kind of an expression they had. They loved Lady Violet as Violet Valentine, and that's exactly why they might have some thoughts looking at her current state. It's like there's a conflict between their desire to return to the old days and their feelings from observing how easy it is to get along with her current self. Lord CLO, may I come in? Then, as if to dispel the silence, somebody knocked on the door. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber were startled by that voice and switched to a more composed look. After checking in on them, I replied that it was okay to come in and invited the person in. Well then, Lord CLO, Amber, Burnt, it's about time so you can come. Do we not need to reflect any longer, milady? Also, what do you mean by it's about time? When Lady Violet came in and confirmed that we were obediently waiting, she said something that was different from a sermon or lecture. After Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber asked with questioning looks on their faces, Lady Violet replied with no particular implication. Oh, Gray and I prepared dinner today. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber looked surprised at these words, and Violet looked pleased to see that she had pulled one over them. Since you guys came to Shiki, you've been doing all the cooking. Although my cooking won't taste as good as yours, I'd like to invite you to dinner as guests. We wouldn't dare. Oh? Are you saying that you won't listen to your master? Are you planning to waste what your master has made? No. They hesitated to reply to Lady Violet, who spoke in an unfair manner, perhaps realizing that anything they said would be useless. Even if they denied it and told her that it wasn't the case, she would reply within it's an order from your master. Come on, it's going to get cold, so come to the dining room. If you need to wash your hands or change your clothes, I'll wait, but it's tastier when it's warm, so be quick. Understood. We will come as soon as we're ready. Please go ahead first, milady. After agreeing with Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber, who had their heads bowed and looking at me, Lady Violet turned on her heel and left for the dining room with, "We're having an extravagant feast today." Wait, what was that just now? Isn't that unfair? Once again, I would like to express my gratitude. Pardon. I held my cheeks that seemed to be loosening and responded to Ms. Amber's words while remaining as calm as possible. It's frustrating, but my brother and I wouldn't be able to see Milady smiling like that. We loved the way Milady was before, so we didn't even think about changing her. Yes, we never thought that a day would come when Milady would be able to show such expressions and emotions so audaciously. But they paused and muttered quietly as if they were talking to themselves and not me. I loved how noble Milady was before, but I love the way Milady is now even more. Me too. Right now, Milady is overflowing with a different kind of charm, and I love it. Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber looked somewhat happy as they looked at where Lady Violet was headed. I felt somewhat happy and relieved about that, and was about to reply that I was glad for them, when also Milady's fragrance mixed with the scent of seasonings after cooking is very good. I want to enjoy it from up close even more. Milady's joyfully bouncing voice and footsteps are simply wonderful. I want to hear it from up close even more. They really had to ruin it at the very end. Chapter 87. Observation by the girl who was supposed to be the protagonist. I enrolled in Azalea Academy as a scholarship student. It was mainly due to me being a rare user of alchemy magic. Furthermore, the school that I enrolled in has many famous people with unique personalities. First of all, the most famous person in my grade is the third prince, Vermilion Randolph. He has beautiful red hair and purple eyes, which are characteristics of royalty. He is said to be a handsome boy, popular among men and women of all ages. The nickname given to him by those around him is Crimson Lion. Its origin is rooted in the prince's talent not only in studies, but also in magic. In fact, he defeated a B-rank monster as a child. In other words, if someone messes with him, they are bound to get hurt. Oh, he also has a good voice. When he first enrolled in the academy, he was a calm and a solitary person. He didn't show his emotions on his face. It was only recently that he started to become more expressive and friendlier. This naturally caused his popularity within the academy to soar even further. The reason why he's become friendlier is probably Mary's influence. He doesn't try to hide his feelings for her. They can often be seen together. However, I don't really like him. It's because he insulted Vi, my precious friend, in public and dumped her. And he's spending time happily with Mary without caring about it. When I see that, I feel a strange frustration in my chest. Next is Ash Austin, a handsome boy with soft brown hair and black eyes. He is a member of the Marquis family and an attendant of His Highness Vermilion. Although he has a good voice as well, he has a dark side. When it comes to academics, he's always ranked in the top 3 with His Highness and Mary. When it comes to magic, he's an expert of earth and wind. He is an all-around talented person who is able to perform his duties, including miscellaneous tasks, as His Highness' personal attendant without any problems. Recently, he made a contract with a spirit called Carbuncle, causing a stir both inside and outside the school. I didn't like Ash that much until summer, but I think that one of the reasons why we've recently become closer compared to the superficial relationship before is because of Mary's influence. I once saw Ash get slapped by Mary at the academy. The reason was that he was acting for Highness with no regard for himself. At that time, this caused a big uproar, but Ash himself said that the rumors were false and asked the students who witnessed it happen in front of them, including me, to not spread the word. In the end, the situation ended without problems. After that, he seems to have fallen in love with Mary like His Highness, and I often see them together. However, while I didn't see it directly because I was back at my parents' house, he seemed to have done something terrible to Vi during the duel, so I don't like him as well. He has changed a bit since the Shiki investigation, so it's okay, but I still feel somewhat uncomfortable with him. Also, he sometimes looks at me with strangely wary eyes. Next is Chartreuse Calvin. He's the son of the current Knight Commander and an Archwizard. He's a handsome boy with dark green hair and chartreuse-colored eyes, with unparalleled fighting ability among us. He also has a good voice. When he first enrolled, Char was wrapped in an aura that kept others at bay more than His Highness. It was only recently that I often saw him interacting with others to improve himself. The way he strives to become Knight Commander is simple-minded, but brilliant and draws in people around him. The biggest reason why he changed is, as expected, Mary. She kept talking to Char, who was unfriendly and rarely interacted with anybody other than His Highness and Ash. She would sometimes take him out to the city to interact with him more. As a result, she closed the emotional distance between them, and he started to open up his heart to her, after which he started taking initiative to communicate with others as well. There's another well-known story within the academy about how Mary's group was attacked by a B-rank monster during an off-campus training session. During that incident, she got injured while protecting a classmate, and Char rushed over to defeat the monster alone. If you look at them from the side, they look like good rivals who mutually encourage each other to improve, and Char's awkward, yet straightforward way of telling her that he would become a man worthy of her earned him popularity among the female students of the academy. That being said, I don't like how he held Vi down more than necessary during the duel and treated her like an object. When I interacted with him, he turned out to be a more honest type. I wonder if it's because of his personality that I stopped caring about those things. There are other famous people too. Senior Eccles, a handsome glasses-wearing older brother-type senior from a grade above, who's a member of Earl Forsyth's family. The story of him scooping up Mary in a princess hold in public after she broke her leg and taking her to the infirmary is still being talked about among female students as a fairy tale-like event. He also has a good voice. Silva Seifred, a commoner like me, who's in the same grade, but is cute like a young brother. He used to be gloomy because he was being shunned due to him being able to use cursed magic, but he became cheerful thanks to Mary. We also now know the thing about the curse was a lie. Now, he's loved as a hard worker and is quite popular. He has a nice, cute voice. And then there's Mary, a beautiful girl with pretty golden hair and red eyes, born as a commoner and not a noble, who has attracted the famous people I have described. Her family name is Sue. Also, she has a lovely, cute voice. She uses the same alchemy magic as I do, but she is clearly better at it than I am. She excels in academics and always ranks in top 10 in the whole school, already attracting a lot of attention from people in her field of expertise. She also excels in other magic and uses the 6 basic attributes of earth, water, fire, wind, darkness, and light, as well as other rare magic, as if she were a professional in that attribute. She has a high physical ability and is as dependable in combat as His Highness Vermilion and Char, even in her natural state. She has good looks that attracts both men and women alike. She treats everyone kindly and regardless of their social status or race, and is loved by everybody. She's very good at changing her point of view and is quick to notice things that others around her have not noticed, which often impresses not only the students but the teachers as well. Her cooking skills are so good that it can be said that she can catch people through their stomachs. I have seen His Highness's group eat her homemade meals with relish. I can say that I am no match for her in every way, both as a woman and as a person. I was accepted in the academy because I can use the rare alchemy magic, but I can't help feeling inferior when Mary's ahead of me. A saint? Is she a saint or something? Foo-foo. Thank you very much. However, there are many things that I adore about you. After all, you have something that I lack. She is a good girl who is kind to me without worrying about such things, but I get a strange feeling when I interact with her. A strange feeling, as if my place has changed. It's probably just my imagination, though, and I'm not very good at interacting with Mary. Mary and Vi are enemies, or more specifically, Vi has a one-sided hostility towards her. Although Vi made some mistakes in that regard, it just felt strange. Mary is kind to most people, but she seemed to treat Vi differently. I don't know how to describe it, but it was as if she wasn't a part of people who had to be saved. No, it's probably just my imagination. Well, there are other famous people too. I am technically also one of the famous students because I can use alchemy magic. There are other students who are attracting attention within the school as well. A student who excels in magic. A student who was born with special magic and was shunned for it. A now expelled student who used to use word magic. And my friend Vi, who was also expelled. It has become known throughout the school that she would come to Azalea Academy School Festival with her husband. Vi has an understanding husband, Mr. CLO now. However, the famous students I mentioned earlier are clearly hostile towards her, and I even can see that her position at the school isn't good. On the contrary, she's perceived as an enemy of Mary, who's loved by many students even within the school. It can be said that she pretty much has no place here. That's why I think I have to be on Vine, Mr. CLO's side when they come to the school festival. Aha! I got dirty. I can't go home like this. I'll make a tool to remove the stains. I laughed while no one was watching and deployed a field to use alchemy magic. I'm glad that it was at a place where nobody else was watching. It would be a problem if I was seen by those famous students I was imaging earlier, and since I'm also kind of famous, if I was seen by other students it would cause strange rumors. I don't want either of that, so I have to be careful. If such rumors spread, even if I am Vi's ally, it would only be a nuisance for her. I was taught a long time ago that smiling is important, but I've also heard that sometimes even a smile can look crazy, so I have to keep calm as much as possible. I already have a hard time fitting in as is. I wonder if the blood will come off properly. I muttered to myself while wiping the blood stains I got from defeating Trents. Maybe I should clean up too? Or rather, Trents actually have blood? First time I'm seeing it. Chapter 88. It starts with the preparation for convocation. Gray, are you done with preparations for tomorrow? Yes, it's all done. Early afternoon, with sun high in the sky. We were at home, making preparations to go to the capital. This will be my first return to the capital in several years. For Gray, it'll be his first time in the capital. For Lady Violet, it'll be her first homecoming in several months. To be honest, I feel dispirited. I wanted to show Gray around in the capital on another occasion, but since our goal this time is to attend Azalea Academy's school festival, I hate that Lady Violet, and I will most likely end up with nothing but bad experience. You look happy, Gray. Yes, I'm going to see the capital for the first time after all. I've heard that it has many things that Shiki doesn't, so I'm looking forward to it. Well, Gray also seems to be looking forward to it, so there's no point in continuing to complain about it. Thanks to a certain noble in the capital, there's a chance that if I'm discovered, I'll be immediately detained by the military police, so I'm glad that that danger is legally gone this time. I'll be able to eat Mr. Orange's stew at a roadside stall for the first time in a while. I'll be happy if Lady Violet and Gray enjoy themselves too. If I remember right, in the capital, you can be recognized as a full-fledged man after winning at a gambling den, going out on the night streets with women and enjoying night fever, right? No. Where did you even hear that from? Mr. Yellow said that along with fever, drinking, buying, hitting is the most fun thing to do in the capital. I already told you to stop taking that person's words seriously. It's true that as a prosperous city, it has places like that too, but all of them are too early for Gray. At any rate, I'll have to warn Mr. Yellow, the self-proclaimed progenitor of heroic tales, later. Come to think of it, Gray has been happily talking about his trip to the capital recently. I wonder if he's learned anything else strange from anyone other than Mr. Yellow. I'll ask him just in case. I was told that if a strange woman talked to me, it's best to say I got lost and I have to go to my daddy quickly with an upturned look and teary eyes and leave. No. I was also told that if a man with Shota-crazy eyes invited me, I should decline them by saying that I'm not that easy. Don't do it. If someone told me to buy a vase because I was possessed by an evil spirit, I should reply with forget that. Why don't you start real estate instead? And show off Shiki's appeal. Stop it. Please stop teaching him how to tread the line between what's an actual countermeasure and what's not. Though it's also true that Gray is gullible, so rather than telling him to not believe what the other person said carelessly, it might be better to make him say the right words and leave the place. I'll have to make sure to keep an eye on Gray when we're outside. I must make sure that either Lady Violet, Mr. Burnt, or Ms. Amber, who are here as watchdogs of the Valentine family, are always with him. Lord Cielo, preparations for tomorrow are done. Thank you very much, Ms. Amber. As I was explaining to Gray about the 3 threats of drinking, hitting, and buying, and trying to deal with his blushing face at what he had said, Ms. Amber came over with luggage in her hand. I say luggage, but we'll only be staying there for a week. If we pack too much, it would only make it harder to move around, and since we only need a minimum amount of luggage, the amount itself isn't much. If you would like to thank me, a hug would be fine. I have a wife, so I'll refrain. Also, Ms. Amber has become more honest about her desire to smell fragrances. I think it's because I'm the one who made them aware of their preferences, but I didn't think that they would start to deal with it in this manner. Since she doesn't try to do it by force or put laundry in her mouth, I think it's fine as long as she's not bothering anybody. In addition, she acts the same way as she always has towards Lady Violet, so the latter doesn't seem to have noticed anything. Then, Gray, please come here. Yes, ma'am. However, would hugging me really count as a thank you? It will. When I refused, Ms. Amber opened her arms in a beckoning way and asked Gray to come to her. Gray approached Ms. Amber without a question and was taken into her arms. Well, this much should be okay. I'd stop them if Gray was a little more grown up and had different thoughts, but right now, he only looks confused. By the way, Mr. Burnt prefers to have words whispered in his ear. When they fulfill their desires, their skin starts glowing, or so it seems, and they start to work harder. I just hope they don't go off the rails in a weird way when they return to the Valentine house. By the way, where's Lady Violet? Milady is gone with my brother to make the final confirmation regarding the management of Shiki starting tomorrow. I see. Then I have to check the documents next. In that case, I have packed the necessary documents in this luggage. The issuance procedures and arrangements have already been completed. Therefore, all you need is your family crest to prove your identity and the Lord certification, Lord CLO. Thank you very much. No, it's part of my job. Ms. Amber was quicker and more precise about finishing the information regarding my question and preparation. Those siblings are really good enough at their work to continue being servants at a ducal family. It doesn't feel that way, though, because she's hugging Gray and her face is relaxed. Then, I'll get going to see the father. Lady Violet might have gone to him too, but since I'm going to leave him in charge for a while, I'd like to greet him directly again. Yes, sir. In that case, here's your coat. It still hasn't started snowing yet, but it's still cold outside. Thank you very much. Ms. Amber quickly reacted to my words, stepped away from Gray. Then she came to me with my coat, which she had prepared out of nowhere, over her arm, and opened it up for me to put on. These two are really excellent at their work. Gray was also looking at her, with eyes full of admiration for her agility. Hoping that she wasn't holding it to just smell its smell, I obediently let her help me into the coat. Then, if visitors come, please tell them that I'll be back by the evening. If it's an urgent matter, either of you can come to the church to notify me. You don't have to see me off, so please feel free to spend the time as you see fit. Yes, sir. Have a good day, Lord CLO. I bowed slightly and left the room as Gray and Ms. Amber saw me off. Well then, the days are getting shorter, so I should go to see the father soon. It'll get dark if I dilly-dally. By the Lady Amber, may I? What's Gray? In the last day of is actually is that a yes? That's why I need help. After leaving the room, I could hear Gray and Amber's conversation in the distance. Unfortunately, I couldn't make out the actual content. Chapter 89. Still too nervous to replenish the supplies after this. Sapsa, what happened? When I arrived at the church to give the final confirmation to Father about the management for while I would be away, Cyan was crying. She had tears in her eyes, which she was wiping with her hands, and her nose was also runny. Although I was confused that Cyan, who was always strong-willed and rarely ever cried, was crying, my hunch as her friend of several years was telling me that the matter wasn't actually serious enough to have a lasting effect on her. Did you try to appeal to Father by helping him with managing Shiki, only to be left in charge of the church and separated from him? No, that wasn't it. Recently, Cyan seemed to be enthusiastic about taking this chance to get closer to Father, so I was sure it had something to do with that. I was rooting for her, but everybody around could see that she wouldn't be able to do anything as usual. I thought I could finally get closer to the father, but I was also called to the capital. What? Cyan was summoned to the capital? If Cyan, who was sent to Shiki after hitting the archbishop while serving as a sister in the capital, was called back. So, you're finally getting executed? If that happens, I'll tell them that we are such excellent friends, enough for us to be in the capital together. Stop it. If you do that, I'll tell them why you want to stay here. Don't. All right. Enough jokes. If we mess up, even Father might get executed. If that happens, my position that's already not good will become even worse. Besides, we never met in the capital. For now, she seems to have enough energy to throw a joke back at me. In that case, she wasn't sad because she would be punished if she went to the capital, but she was simply crying because she didn't want to be separated from the father. But still, why now? You've never been called back until now, right? Apparently, they're inviting church officials from around here to hold an event at Azalea Academy's school festival. Important people from foreign countries are also coming, so they want to make it look like the people involved with the state religion are well-educated. Are you serious? From what I've heard, they make a bigger group than usual sing hymns at the school festival. They line them up as extras in plays and ask them to perform readings and confessions. In other words, they want to create a buzz by inviting real church officials to the school festival, a level of publicity that can even attract people who aren't interested in the church. And while it depends on the size of the town, it seems that at least one person is always called as representative from each town. That's what Cyan seems to have been chosen as. If they want a representative, wouldn't Father be, don't tell me it's because I left him in charge, so that's why? It might sound rude, but Cyan is definitely far from what the general public imagines as a sister. I thought that it would be better for the Academy to call the Father as a representative instead of Cyan, but maybe Father refused them because we left him in charge of managing Shiki. Thinking so, I felt apologetic, but Cyan shook her head and denied it. No, I was nominated, or more like they didn't want Father to go more than they didn't want me to go. That seems to be the reason there was no summoning notice until the last minute. In other words, yes. It's probably because if he went, the status of those greedy fools in power would be in jeopardy. The priest of Shiki, Father Snow White, is an undeniably honest priest with no shred of perverted tendencies. I have never seen a more admirable priest than him. He's been in Shiki longer than Cyan. He helps those in trouble with no hesitation, immediately agrees to requests, fights against monsters with no fear for his life, and saves others without discrimination if they are in need. He would do so regardless of if they have committed a crime in the past. However, he doesn't simply just accept everybody, as he will admonish those he deems evil and will even fight them in some cases. Because he saved too many people, he was loved by many and shunned by the church officials. He would only accept donations and nothing more, never asking for compensation to save people. Because he adhered to the doctrine of saving others too much, he was treated as a powerful being who could not be manipulated with money, honor, or status by the powerful people of the church and sent to Shiki. It's an incomprehensible decision to exclude somebody who adheres to the doctrine, but as long as the Father in question only consents with, if such is the God's guidance, I can't talk too strongly about it. Shit, those damn power-hungry hyenas. I'll punch them all next time. Stop it. If you do that, you'll really get executed. When I stopped her, Cyan replied with, just kidding, as she sat down on the church bench improperly, with her legs folded in a triangle. Because of her outfit, it was a dangerous pose, but I'm already too used to her to worry about it. Still, I'll move a bit to make sure that I don't see anything. Anyway, so you're coming with us tomorrow too, Cyan? Yeah, it seems like it. If possible, I'd like to stay at you guys' lodging. Would that be okay? It seems that Cyan doesn't want to stay at the lodgings prepared by the other side if possible. The provided accommodation would probably be the church or a housing for church personnel. Cyan, who has no good memories of the capital, probably doesn't want to stay there. But since she also knows our situation, she's hesitating to just carelessly barge in. There's a possibility that we might be staying at the Valentine family after all. It's fine, we're just staying at a hotel. You'll either stay in Lady Violet's room, or Gray will come to my room, and you'll stay in his room. Is that so? Then, I can impose on you? I don't mind. Just get permission from either of them. After responding to my words with understood, seeming to have thought that there was no point in cowering, she sprung up from the bench and straightened her back. Okay then, I guess I'll have to get ready for tomorrow already. Get ready for tomorrow? Did you even have any luggage to bring to the capital? That laugh pisses me off as usual. Hey! Cyan pointed at me with her finger, struck a pose, and announced what she was about to do. Isn't it a given? I have to replenish my supply of Father's essence, since I won't see him for a while. Don't try to put dirty clothes in your mouth, or put the recording equipment that you use to record sounds inside your body like my acquaintances. There's no way I would... Acquaintances? So, somebody actually tried to do that? Yeah, and they're pretty close. The perverts who you call with familiarity, Bernie and Amby. Chapter 90, Expression Gray. Are you also going to the capital, Lady Apricot? Yeah, that's right, my disciple. Dusk and winter when the days were getting shorter. I received a joyful report from Lady Apricot, who visited my house looking as beautiful and dignified as ever, wearing a cloak that made her look like a black witch. Apparently, Lady Apricot would also be coming to the capital with us. Normally, the space distortion stone, the warp stone, requires an application and funds, so even if we went together, we would have to go to the capital separately. It was thanks to Lord Ash's kindness that she is now able to use it and come to the capital with us. In other words, the implication is something like, why not come and observe the school festival and consider enrolling? I have to thank Lord Ash for this. However, I remember you said that the capital is a corrupt space dominated by the conspiracies of many races, and it didn't suit you. I certainly said so. But sometimes it is also important to be broad-minded. It is possible that a new path of magic can appear in a place seething with grudges. I see. I expected nothing less from you, Lady Apricot. I don't really understand it, but I guess it means that there are some things you can see only when you go to places that don't fit you. I've heard that there's a training method that involves using magic of other attributes in order to improve one's magical aptitude. So it must be something like that. Probably. Fufufu, besides, I've heard that there is a devil cry of endless battle at the school festival, where the outsiders can also participate. It would not be a bad idea to participate and show off my power. You will definitely be the winner, Lady Apricot. Fufu, do not praise me too much. But one must be careful to not be arrogant. Even the rulers and gods of the past have ended up perishing because they let their guards down. Oh, my apologies, I did not consider that far. Do not worry about it. You just have to make use of this experience in the future dash. Lady Apricot. Ah, what a reliable person she is. She possesses a different kind of strength than Lord CLO and Lady Violet. She always shows me different worlds. I'm sure she'll show me new and fun things in the capital and at the academy this time too. You really do like Apricot, Gray. Just as I was enjoying a conversation with Lady Apricot, Lady Amber, who was brewing tea instead of me, said with a smile on her face. Yes, of course. Lady Apricot is an important person for me as a mentor both in magic and life. Ah, you even made tea for me. Thank you very much. Fu, good answer, my disciple. Ah, thank you for the tea. My feelings are closer to respect than love, but it doesn't change the fact that I like her. When I honestly admitted my affection, Lady Apricot looked satisfied and bowed without forgetting to say thank you. Besides, I also have other goals in mind besides the school festival. Oh, what do you mean? The capital's cuisine is popular. I also plan to explore novel flavors using new seasonings that are not readily available in Shiki. You do love cooking, Lady Apricot. If you cook half-heartedly, your mana also won't be good. I'm not going to force you, but you should also try to improve a little, my disciple. Your cooking doesn't taste very good. Ugh. Still, I think everybody would be worse compared to you, Lady Apricot. I don't know anybody who's better than you. I don't know many chefs outside Shiki, but Lady Apricot's cooking skills are unmistakably among the top class in Shiki. I admire her skills because she's able to produce anything from delicate flavors to deep flavors and ask her to teach me occasionally. But unfortunately, I can't seem to improve. Although Lady Apricot told me, with a kind expression, that the more I'll practice, the better I'll become. As I was sipping my tea, I suddenly noticed that Lady Amber's expression was more grim than usual. It's unusual for Lady Amber to have that kind of look on her face. Gray, are Apricot's cooking skills that good? Yes, to the point that Lady Violet thought it was delicious and asked her to teach her. Ms. Violet improves quickly, so it's worth teaching her. Is that so? Lady Violet, who lived in the city, also praised Lady Apricot's cooking, saying that it was on par with the city's chefs. I'm sure her skills will stand out in other places as well. Well, even I can't compete with my disciples' skills in brewing tea and coffee. Even with the same leaves and beans, they taste different when brewed by my disciple. Lady Amber's expression became even more mysterious as she thanked Lady Apricot with much more fervor. Thank you so much. Come to think of it, I also think that Milady's scent expression is the best when Gray's the one who brews tea instead of me and my brother. Maybe she also prefers Apricot's cooking more than mine. Just as I thought that she had a mysterious expression on her face, she put her hand on her chin and took a thinking pose. She was perhaps pondering something. But As if she couldn't put her thoughts together well, just in her mind, she muttered something quietly. Huh, could it be that I wasn't able to bring out the best fragrance, expression, milady could ever produce? I don't know why, but for some reason it seems like Lady Amber was going in a strange direction. Apricot. Why, yeah. What's wrong, Miss Sunshine? You're suddenly very close. Lady Amber suddenly approached Lady Apricot, grabbed her shoulders, and drew closer. Even Lady Apricot couldn't hide the confusion in her voice and expression due to this sudden development. Is it just my imagination, or was Lady Amber referred to as something strange just now? I'll pay if need be. Please teach me how to cook. I don't really need money, but what happened so suddenly? I'm embarrassed of myself. Until now, I thought that I was able to draw out the best fragrance from that person with my cooking, but I realized that maybe that was just my complacency. Ms. Amber, what do you mean by drawing out fragrance? I was also at a loss by her sudden change, unable to do anything. How strange. What happened for this woman, who's usually calm, except for when she occasionally hugs me, to change so much? In other words, I would like to improve my cooking skills for my lady's sake. I would like to ask you to teach me. I don't mind if that's the case, but I've heard that you're quite skilled. What should I teach you? Specifically, please let me smell you while you're cooking, Apricot. I will steal your cooking skills with the taste of your scent. What are you talking about? I wonder what's driving Lady Amber. Chapter 91, Rule of 3. I am. Also, going to the capital. Seriously? Dusk on a day when the days were getting shorter. Having finished the confirmations for tomorrow onwards, I was going around with Burnt to check if we had all necessary supplies. This was when Ms. Robot told me so. That's improper, milady. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I accidentally spoke improperly and was warned by Burnt. This won't do. I have to remain calm in any situation. But why is Ms. Robot suddenly coming to the capital? I'm happy to be able to go to the capital together with her, but she'll not only stand out in her current attire, she might even be mistaken for a monster and captured or subjugated, and if I remember correctly, she hates taking off her armor and showing her bare face. Or maybe she unknowingly made the royal family indebted to her, and it's somehow okay for her to walk around the capital. It's scary just how much of a possibility that is. I will not use warp stone. If I go, it will cause problems. Besides, I say capital, but I actually have business in the surrounding area. Is that so? In other words, you're not going with us? I will go with you until halfway. In that case, I suppose we will have to part ways with Lady Robot for a while. As long as you can't use the stone, there will inevitably be a difference in our travel time. No, it will take me 2 days to reach the capital from here with breaks. So, we should be able to meet during the school festival. I want to retort and say that it would take horses and centaurs more than 10 days to reach the capital, even if they kept running nonstop, but I'll refrain for now. I've become able to ignore it no matter what kind of specs she shows. Haha, you're also good at joking, Lady Robot. I am not joking. Ha ha ha, you're very good at jokes. Burnt was desperately trying to look away, unable to believe it. What can I say? The time will come when he'll understand it. For example, sometimes she'd release a sharp, incomprehensible beam from her arm and cut down trees to provide wood for the elderly. For example, sometimes she'd take out a wounded 3-meter class Pegasus from inside her body and ask to have it treated. For example, she would bring back a giant kraken the size of the Hartfield mansion that she received as thanks for saving the sea god. Once you witness her in such situations a few times, you stop worrying about the details. Still, what business might you have near the capital? Ah, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. I do. Not mine. Ms. Robot's range of activities was wider than I thought, and she has been appearing in places I didn't even know of. Still, I heard that she was trying to avoid well-populated places near the capital so as to not cause confusion. I was curious about what kind of business she had in the capital, so when I asked her, she answered my question without hiding anything. First, I have to destroy a drug organization. We're starting big right off the bat. Apparently, a drug organization was trying to establish a stronghold near the capital, so she was first going to confirm the fact and then destroy them. I wonder how she's going to check. Does she have a lie detecting function? It feels like she might have. But if that's the first thing, there has to be more after that. Yes. Next, I have to pacify a group of Trents. Trent, isn't that an upper sea level monster? It's dangerous to take them on alone. Ms. Robot will be fine. Yes, it will be a breeze. Bombing with God's staff will easily beat them. I don't understand what this God staff thing is, but Ms. Robot will be fine. She had easily killed lower B-class monsters like wyverns before, so worrying about it is too late now. Rather, I feel like having somebody else accompany her would be more of a nuisance for her. According to Ms. Robot, things get more difficult when she's against upper B-class or A-class monsters. Lastly, I will enjoy the school festival. Will you be okay, Ms. Robot? Even though that sounds the easiest, it might actually be the most difficult. No way. Is she saying that it's actually possible? First of all, she will definitely cause a commotion in her current form. If she wants to have fun, we would do everything to help, but there are limits to what we can do. However, telling her that taking off her armor and showing her face would solve all problems would be as impossible as telling Ivory to not get excited when looking at injuries, or telling Emerald to not ingest even a single drop of poison. Stealth mode doesn't make you completely invisible either, so she'll inevitably be found. No, with a little decoration, I can pass it off as a costume. It's difficult. You might be able to fool the outsiders, but you won't be able to deceive the school officials. From what I have heard, Ash is now a member of school festival committee. I see. If we ask Ash, who knows Ms. Robot, maybe we can pass it off as if he had requested her to mask herself to avoid the commotion. In that case, would it be better if I, or Lord CLO, ask Ash? But can I even approach Ash, who's not only busy, but also hostile towards me? In the worst case scenario, I just have to hide my face, and it will be fine. Then it'll be okay, yeah. Is that really fine? Winter is cold, so she can hide her body with clothes, and she can do something about her face with winter gear plus a costume. In the worst-case scenario, we'll cover up for her. Milady's ability to respond. Her common sense has changed. No, am I the one who's strange? Does this mean that what I thought was common sense wasn't actually so common? Watching our conversation, Burnt had a distant look in his eyes. For some reason, he seemed distressed, with a conflicted expression on his face. I wonder what happened. That being said, Milady's bouncy voice as she speaks with her friend is still wonderful. Really, when the world happened to him. Chapter 92, Pre-Trip Jitters. Somehow our numbers have multiplied. It was the morning of the day we were set to depart for the capital. When I initially received the invitation, I had planned for just the Hartfield family to attend the festival, but before I knew it, many more people had decided to join us. A sulking Cyan, whose bad mood was a result of her temporary separation from the priest. A boastful Apricot, whose visit to the capital made all the children in Shiki green with envy. The chaperones Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber, whose presence inside the carriage gave rise to a lot of concerns. Robot. Just like that, the number of people leaving for the capital had more than doubled. We had fewer issues with transportation as House Valentine had made preparations and sent over a rather luxurious carriage. But as our numbers had increased, we would obviously have less room despite the extravagance. This was a cause for concern, as it made me worry if Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber would find the cramped space a little too stimulating. As for me, I find it a tad uncomfortable that the male-to-female ratio is a bit skewed in favor of the latter. I just hope the air inside the carriage isn't filled with the scent of makeup or perfume. By the way, will you be riding with us, Robot? I will be flying parallel to the carriage until we reach the next town. I see. Take care not to spook any peddlers or people passing by. Knowing Robot, it's probably not easy for her to fly at a relaxed pace. Even so, since she wants to tag along with us, I don't have any complaints. The more the merrier on a trip. Not to mention having her by our side considerably reduces threats from monsters. So, she's all the more welcomed. I'm okay with you wanting to attend the Academy Festival, but make sure not to get yourself arrested. All right? Don't worry, I will only be dropping by if I have time to spare. Oh, if you do decide to come, let me know. If I'm free, I'll vouch for you. Thank you. If there happen to be any tournaments open to people unaffiliated with the Academy, I might participate. I will be counting on you. Then, don't. Your opponent will die. Robot participating in the Academy tournament. I believe a duel sounds dangerous on many different levels. Though I'm sure she'd hold back and not injure her opponent, that still doesn't erase the concern of the arena mysteriously getting blown to smithereens. I was kidding. Should the situation call for it, you can count on me to have your back. Count on you for what? Like confronting the sender of the invitation or Violet's dual partner from before. Yes, she's got a point. I would love to get her help in dealing with them, but I think they are problems I need to somehow resolve using my own strength. We especially can't afford to screw things up with the sender, who might try to make life difficult for us. Thanks, Robot. I'll request your help if there's an emergency, but other than that, those issues are something we need to resolve by ourselves. I know, but I want you to remember, if my precious friend is in a crisis, then I won't just stand still twiddling my thumbs. Friend, I'll admit it makes me happy to hear that. If possible, the best solution would be to take shelter somewhere safe like one's parents' home until the storm passes, but I'm grateful for this opportunity to learn who our allies are. Even if Robot only considers Lady Violet a friend, it still makes me happy. Robot nodded in affirmation and continued to talk as if she were merely laying out facts. I just have to cause an uproar by unleashing maximum cluster cannon upon your signal with enough vigor to usurp the throne. Knock it off. You're scaring me because I wouldn't put it past you to do something like that. I feel like at the end you just say act. Seeing as they've driven us into a corner, there's only one way out of this. Time to blow myself up. I totally would. I come back to life, though. So you would. And you'd also come back to life. I can't tell if she's serious or joking because she's speaking normally, but for the love of God, she's got to stop. I do appreciate that she'd go that far for us, though. According to the events in that Otome game, Ring of Fire, the dragon slumbering in the depths of the Academy is supposed to wake up sometime soon. Even so, I wish Robot would stop trying to take its place in plunging the citizens of the kingdom in fear. If something like that happens, then us and all of Shiki's residents would end up being fugitives. Then you make sure to stand firm so that doesn't come to pass, all right? Well, if she threatens, cheers for me like that, then I got to do my best. There are a lot of pressing issues like the sender of the invitation, the love interest starting from High Highness Vermilion, the hostile Academy students, House Valentine, and last, but not the least, Lady Violet's worst enemy, Ms. Mary, who has charmed everyone. Either way, I just have to do my utmost to support Lady Violet to the best of my abilities. Mwaha! Hearken! My name will echo all throughout the capital very soon. This invitation will be my first step towards making history. Never mind all that. Just gulp these down in time of need. Here's a potion to put your body in suspended animation, a revival potion, and a potion to stop revival. Also take these. They are pellets made from puffer fish poison. You bastard. What are you trying to do to me? Hey, sister pervert. Take this. What is it, Dr. Perverted Groper? Medicine? A salve I made myself that can heal any kind of wound. It'll be of use if you get hurt over there. It would be best if you never have to use it, so make sure to look after yourselves. None of your business, but thanks. I'll show you I'll have no need for it. By the way, the salve is considered illegal in the capital, so you'd best keep it hidden. What the hell are you trying to make me carry? Gray, the promised eternally radiant boy. Take care in the capital, and especially watch what you eat, all right? Thanks for your concern, Lord Bly. Is there anything you'd like me to bring back as a souvenir? The clothes you wore in the capital? No, I mean any simple clothing item. You don't have to go out of your way, though. Clothing? Then you won't be disappointed. If anything should happen to you, I'll charge the capital armed with all kinds of weapons, including magic swords and tools. Thank you? Sitting close to Milady. No, calm down. Calm down. Take deep breaths and expel all the air from your body, so it can be filled with Milady and Gray's scent instead. Amber? What is it? What has got you so excited? Sharing the same space as Milady. No, calm down. Calm down. Take deep breaths and expel all the air from your body, so it can be filled with Milady and Gray's sounds instead. Burnt? What is it? What has got you so excited? My list of worries grows ever longer, but it also means that we've got just as many allies, so it's okay, it's all right. Well, to start with, I should make sure we don't lose our heads. CLO, if you find any fine ladies in the capital, introduce them to me. I'm really into dwarves at present, but I'm fine with any species. Wait, I changed my mind. I'll come along and appraise their value myself. Also, how do you feel about making love with me in the carriage, Amber? Okay, for now, I should start with knocking the living daylights out of this bastard to shut him up. Chapter 93, Mimicking Reality. As I was rocked by the carriage, which didn't sway much despite the speed and the road condition due to some kind of magical anti-swaying divine protection, I smiled at Gray and Apricot. The two were looking outside excitedly. I let out a small sigh as I watched Lady Violet and Robot, who was flying next to us, converse. What's wrong, CLO? You looked at Io and Ray and sighed. Then Cyan, who was wearing a normal habit that sisters wear instead of her usual habit with a deep slip because she was going to the capital, who looked like she had difficulty moving, noticed me and asked, "By the way, Cyan's luggage also includes her usual clothes. I was just thinking that they're laughing so happily right now, but they've been called to the capital because of me. I just hope they don't end up hating it. They'll probably end up meeting him too." "Oh, that piece of shit? I can see why you would be worried. I agree with your evaluation, but I don't think a sister should be saying those words." I replied in a way that only Cyan could hear and understand what I was talking about. She immediately spat out an insult without hesitation. I decided to try my best so no harm would come their way after being told by Robot, but I still can't help feeling anxious. In particular, I just don't think that the person who called us there under the name of the royal family will stay quiet. I also won't put it past His Highness Vermilion's group to refrain from attacking Lady Violet. Ash had reconsidered some things after seeing Lady Violet, and his attitude softened, but I shouldn't have such expectations for the other love interests. And Mary was it? Io's dual partner, who's leading various men, including the third prince by the nose. You're going to be meeting her anyway, aren't you? Yeah, you're right. She seems to be popular as a saint in the academy. A saint, huh? I'll look forward to it. Listening to my words, Cyan snorted quietly. Certainly, it's not weird to react in that way when you hear that a 15-year-old girl is called a saint. I can't help but wonder what she thinks of it as a sister herself. Mary Sue. She specializes in alchemy magic and already has a promising future despite only being a freshman at Azalea Academy. She's a virtuous woman who has talent for both literary and military arts, is gifted with not only intelligence, but also beauty. She has strong combat abilities, also has excellent magical aptitude in all fields other than alchemy. She doesn't hesitate to save others, is free-spirited and not bound by common sense. She is said to be able to see things from all perspectives, and at the same time, she mysteriously makes others want to protect her. She's a super perfect human woman who has attracted various famous people on the campus, including His Highness Vermilion. She is said to become the queen or an important government official in the future, at least according to Ms. Creamhild. Wow, what an amazing girl. I'd love to meet her. Don't pick a fight with her just because you don't like her. I won't. It's the worst thing to try and drag somebody that's above you down to your level. There have been many times when you've picked a fight with me, saying that you couldn't allow me to be happy. I'm just doing it because it's you. It's not like I can stop thinking and treat everybody the same way. Things will definitely work out, right? She's right, and knowing my physical abilities, I'm sure Cyan also thinks that I can deal with her well enough. I've been helped by Cyan's personality and way of acting many times in the past, so I don't want her to change either. Still, treating everybody the same way, huh? Suddenly, I felt caught up in Cyan's words and remembered something. This merry girl got her current evaluation not only because of her high specs, but also because she didn't make a mistake in dealing with those annoying people. According to my knowledge, dealing with love interests, starting with His Highness, is very annoying. If you say the right words at the wrong time, it won't resonate with them, and if you make a little mistake in responding to their actions, they'll just suddenly disappear on their own. In Ring of Fire, you can't just make the same choices and expect them to work, and in addition to choices. You would have to pay attention to your actions so they flow well with the narration. If she's been acting by being aware of all those things, that would be great. After all, she has saved many people. But, hey, Cyan, am I an ugly man? What's wrong all of a sudden? Nothing, I was just curious. It's a question, so please answer honestly. Because she's a sister, Cyan can't lie if someone asks her a question. It's because she's following a teaching that says to accept everything sincerely and show people the way by replying to their questions. Members of the corrupted church don't care about that kind of teaching, but Cyan follows it properly, so she'll have to answer even if it's a difficult question. Well, beauty is subjective. You're slightly above average, maybe? You have nice features, so you're not ugly at least. Just by human standards, though. I see. Thanks for taking the trouble to answer. Don't worry about it. After answering my question honestly, Cyan didn't pursue why I asked such a question in the first place. She must have decided that since I did not state the reason myself, there was no point in asking. There's a gap from how she usually actually acts, but Cyan is pretty good at her work as a sister. Her normal clothes and actions completely ruin it, though. This is just a weird hypothetical, and if it's hard to answer, you could just think of it as me talking to myself. Sure, I'll just be reading the book I brought with me, Cyan said, and opened a popular novel to read. She probably doesn't intend to read it seriously, but this must mean that since she's reading, I can just start talking. Suppose there are multiple stories that feature the same characters but have different endings, and one of the characters always ends up miserable, with no ways to be saved. Sounds like a sadistic story. The readers also start to think, I guess that's just how that character is meant to be, and while they still feel sorry for them, they eventually start to think that it's deserved, and as the story progresses, they start to feel less concerned. It's scary how easy we can get used to things. What if one of those readers ended up traveling a little too far away and found themselves in a space similar to the story and thought that they could do the same to the character that always ended up miserable? Is it a simulated reality? I guess you can say that. I don't know why you'd be talking to yourself about something like that, but a girl like that might be surprisingly fragile. Inside the carriage that swayed lightly. In this space where no one but Cyan could hear my words, I was concerned about a girl who I didn't know was an enemy or not. Chapter 94. Are those guys for real? By everybody around. The carriage we rode on ran at such a fast speed that we arrived faster than we would with the carriage we usually use. We managed to reach the neighboring town by noon. I decided to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and greet the lord of this town and exchange information with them while I was here. During that time, I was away from everybody for a short while. I'm sorry for making you wait. Gray, who could not hide his desire to quickly leave, reacted to my arrival in the waiting room of the Space Distortion Stone, where those who were going to other places, including the capital, were gathered. He straightened his back, and Apricot watched him with a smile. As for Mr. Burnt, he was trying his best to not start smiling after hearing that sound. No, it's fine. We were also able to apply to use the Space Distortion Stone quicker. It will take a little more time, though. Lady Violet responded to my arrival and rushed over to me. We had a light conversation about how my talk with the lord of this town went. This made others distracted from us, and they resumed chatting about things in the capital with those close to them. Lady Violet, what's wrong? I looked at Lady Violet next to me, and after confirming that nobody was paying attention to us, I casually called out to her. If something happens, please rely on me. Lady Violet also replied casually, so I also continued speaking, trying to keep my composure as much as possible. It's not like I think of her as weak, but I can't help feeling worried about her. I don't know if it's hostility or pity, but as long as I'm her husband, I'm sure many people will be looking at me the same way they did during the investigation in Shiki. I also have enemies who are clearly hostile towards me in the capital, and Lady Violet might also get implicated because of that. That's why I thought that I had to protect her. Fufu, yeah, I'll do that. So if anything happens, you can rely on me too. However, when she answered me with a smile full of composure, I was inadvertently taken aback. Oh no, I have to calm down. I might have been agitated because I'm returning to the capital for the first time in a while, and because Robot told me to get a grip. To begin with, she's far superior to me in all aspects except physical abilities, pathetically enough. She also has lived in noble society from birth, which is swirling with conspiracies. She has done so far longer than I have, with most people who approached her aiming for her status. When she came to Shiki, and when the students from Azalea Academy came to investigate, she was only caught off guard because she was in a vulnerable state. She's usually a strong woman, not a damsel in distress in need of constant protection. My mother in this world was only selfish toward her husband and children. She forced one-sided narcissistic love on her sons, so I had completely forgotten about what was normal. A married couple is supposed to support each other to become a true family, instead of only one side constantly protecting the other one. Despite giving her an arrogant lecture about how she could abandon me if she wanted to, I had completely lost sight of my surroundings. First, I want to do something for her to thank her for making me realize that fact, but unfortunately all I have on hand is a change of clothes and a bag for souvenirs for the people of Shiki. It doesn't seem like I'll be able to give her something to express my gratitude. To start with is the idea of giving her something to express my gratitude for making me realize something even right. It might not be strange. After all, it's gratitude for her words and actions, which made me realize. I might as well respond to her words with the same initiative. Lady Violet, shall we kiss? Huh. So I took the plunge and suggested a kiss. What are you talking about? Thinking back on it, Lady Violet and I might be a married couple, but we haven't even kissed yet. This is a waste of our sparkling gold rings on our left ring fingers. I don't intend to say that intimate skinship and sexual contact is the only proof of love, but I would say that an affectionate kiss between two people is one of the representatives of proof of love. I feel ashamed. I thought that I subconsciously looked down on you, Lady Violet. I was thinking of you as somebody I had to protect. Oh, I'm happy that you're trying to protect me. But how is that connected to kissing? That's why I decided that we should kiss to show that we're equal. Lord CLO, did you break down from the stress of going to the capital? Lady Violet always looked dignified in my eyes, but now for some reason her lips look sexy. I want to steal away those mesmerizing lips that she has probably never allowed anybody to touch right this instant. I've seen lines like this in Gal games and Otome games, but that line of thought, which I was always skeptical of, is what I'm experiencing right now. Besides, there are other people around us right now. It doesn't have to be here and now, but somewhere else instead. Do you not want to do it with me? It's unfair to say it like that, Lord CLO. I don't care if it's unfair. Also, people around us, I don't know what she's talking about. I can only see Lady Violet right now. It's strange. I took a step closer towards Lady Violet and brought my face closer to her. Then, Lady Violet's face turned red and she took a half step back, so I took another step closer. Lady Violet, Lord CLO, it's my first time kissing a woman I like. In my previous life, the CEO of the company I work for and my friend often made fun of me for that, but I didn't really have a good impression of kissing. I haven't dated any woman, so it was truly an unknown realm for me. But it's about to become a reality. I feel happy knowing that Lady Violet is going to be the first person I experience it with. Hey, come on. You better not be about to make out in front of all of us. I'd like to give you my blessing, but you better do it somewhere else besides this place, which has no ounce of romantic atmosphere and is full of strangers. And Cyan got mad at us. Looking back on it later, just what was I doing? Let's do it somewhere else with a little more romantic atmosphere. I don't want to have our first kiss in a waiting room full of strangers. Hey, Gray, can I ask something? Yes, what's wrong, Lord Burnt? Milady and Lord CLO. Are they always like that? Getting embarrassed over a single kiss and panicking. I'm sorry, I don't know. I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it's not something you would do in front of others. I was just thinking how innocent they are, as if they hadn't done it much. No, rather than not having done it much. Lord CLO, mother and father haven't even kissed once. What? Seriously? Seriously. Chapter 95, Getting By. Looks like it's time, shall we? All right, let's. I could feel a strange awkwardness between me and Lady Violet. But as the preparations for the warp seemed to be complete, I signaled the others to come closer to the warp stone. Well, the awkwardness was largely because of the kiss incident from earlier, so the situation should resolve itself once we get to the capital. Next, Hartfield party of 7 who re-registered. Oh. The personnel in charge of guiding travelers towards the warp stone called out to us, and her professional mask slipped for a second, as if she had realized something after seeing us. I'm afraid she may have witnessed my failed attempt at a kiss. Her reaction made me and Lady Violet flush, and she must have realized that if she was untactful and acted embarrassed, it would only make the situation all the more embarrassing for us. Thus, she quickly composed herself. I handed over our identification papers and application. Yes, everything is in order. Please stand near the stone, everyone. Back in work mode, the personnel checked all of our documents quickly and urged us to get closer to the warp stone. We did as instructed, and the personnel, after making sure everyone was where they should be, signaled for the warp stone to be fed with mana. It came alive with a whir and started to glow brightly. Lord Silo, Lady Violet called out to me in the short instant it takes to warp to the capital and said, I hope we can make fun memories on the trip, and grasped my hand. I'm not sure if I should attribute the gesture to her nerves or if it was her way of reciprocating for the attempted kiss, but it strengthened my resolve to do everything in my power to make her wish come true. I responded by squeezing her hand. The light died down, and I could sense the shift in the atmosphere. We were standing on the familiar magic circle in the capital, our destination, and it's something I've had the opportunity to experience many times. I suppose the warp was a success, and we're here. Welcome to the capital. Gray looked a little flabbergasted as it was his first warping experience, but realizing that the personnel wasn't the same person as before and that the surrounding scenery had changed, his expression turned to one of apparent joy. Lady Apricot, so this is what a warp feels like. Are we already in the capital? You bet we are, my dear disciple. We arrived in this place of which we hadn't seen a shadow or shape up until a moment ago. I'd only ever heard people talk about it before, but it really is amazing. The personnel, who must have witnessed countless excited kids, looked on amused at Gray and the others in high spirits. Besides Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber, even Lady Violet and Cyan observed the kids make merry with a smile on their face. Gray took a quick look around while speaking animatedly and seemed to have remembered something. He turned to Apricot and asked her a question, or rather look for confirmation. I heard contemporary, chic socialites in the capital often transform themselves into alluring sirens for the purpose of finding gentlemen with the three highs. Is that true? Who taught you all those words? I'm not too familiar with those terms myself, so I can't even say something in retort. In other words, swayed by public opinion, Venus, goddess of beauty, rib Eve, leaves no stone unturned in her search to mate, be united with Earth Adam in the capital. Oh, I see. So that's what Gray meant. I didn't understand a thing because Gray used a lot of big words, but thanks to Cotty, I can now make sense of what he was talking about. In other words, trendy, beautiful women proactively look for the most eligible bachelors. I mean, where did Gray even hear all this? From Mr. Yellow? That does it. I'm not getting him any souvenirs. Pardon me, milady. How is it that everybody understood Lady Apricot's explanation? HM? Oh, right. I suppose you two still have a hard time understanding her. What? Does that mean you do, milady? I reckon I do. Even if the words are comprehensible, if the listener can't make head or tails of someone's way of speech, they'd just be confused despite understanding the individual meaning of the words being spoken. Excuse me. Here's the application written on behalf of the whole party. Please verify if everything is filled in correctly. Yes, let me see. Everything appears to be in order. Through the corner of my eye, I could see Gray raring to charge outside and Lady Violet desperately trying to hold him down. I handed over the application form that confirmed our identities as representatives from Shiki to a personnel who appeared to be in charge, and someone who seemed a little confused after listening to our conversation a few minutes ago. Yes, I don't see any problem with it. Well then, we wish you the best time in the capital. All of the staff sent us off with a deep bow. I asked everyone to be responsible for their own luggage and turn around to pick up my own when Mr. Burnt snatched it away from my hand. So I figured I'd hold on to Lady Violet's, but Ms. Amber had already beaten me to the punch. I was left wondering how to proceed when I noticed Apricot had no luggage in her hand either. I was wondering what her deal was, as she didn't have a butler who could carry her things for her. Apricot, where's your stuff? As long as I have the clothes on my back, my hat, my staff, the 3 sacred treasures, and my wallet, the only other thing I need is my smarts. Do you plan to wear the same set of clothes every day? I just need to get them laundered and dried using magic in my room. You see, I really wanted to travel light. Is she for real? Chapter 96. More troublesome than simple-minded criminals. WL. Lord CLO, Lady Violet. Look at all those buildings we don't have in Shiki. The cityscape is beautiful too. Yeah, you're right. And the people, they're like garbage. That's not a good word to say, Gray. When we left the building with a magic circle, which was the warp destination of the Rapstone, Gray started looking around the capital. Since it was his first time visiting, his eyes were shining, while he kept saying words that I don't know where he learned from. Gray is usually quiet despite the unhinged comments he makes occasionally, but when I look at him like this, he truly looks like a boy of his age. That's right, my disciple. This place is rubbish. You can't just use a different word and think you'll be fine. Although Apricot spoke in the same way as usual, she seemed more fidgety and restless than usual. She wasn't reacting as conspicuously as Gray, but Apricot herself seemed to have also been looking forward to coming to the capital. Wow, the scenery changes quickly in the capital. By the way, CLO, what plans do you have? We're planning to leave our luggage at the lodging and do some sightseeing. We'll be busy with the school festival and greetings starting tomorrow. I see. Then we'll be splitting up here for a while. I mean, they asked me to come here out of the blue and want me to sing and appear and play starting tomorrow. Like, what are they even thinking? Cyan seemed a little depressed, perhaps because she had felt the passage of time after noticing that the cityscape had changed after the last time she was here, along with having to greet people in a place she didn't want to go to. If she goes to the church like this, she'll either cause trouble again like the time when she was sent to Shiki, or she'll get stressed out from being looked at from a distance. Still, Miss Cyan's singing. I'd love to see that. HM? Ah, I see. I've never sung in front of you, Io. I will also be singing during the school festival, so if you want, you can come see me, or not. They'll probably make me sing at the side, so I don't do anything unnecessary. If you're going to sing from the side, it might also be easier for me to watch from the side. I'm grateful because it would be hard for me to go inside the academy to watch you sing in the middle. HM, you sure have a way of saying things. After talking with Lady Violet for a little longer, Cyan left us with a see you later. See you later, because she is going to be staying at the same place as us. I'm a bit worried about her, though, because she mentioned that she would run away even if she was chained up. Anyway, first we have to deliver our luggage. Our chaperones, Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber, might not mind it, but it would be better if everybody could move around lighter. Gray, I understand that you want to go sightseeing, but first we need to check our accommodation and entrust our luggage to them. Ah, yes. Understood, Lord CLO. When I look at Gray, who's carrying his luggage with a big smile on his face and is so excited that I might lose him if I relax, I just feel like it's one of the best things about coming to the capital, Lord CLO. Yes, you're right. Seeing Gray, who's honestly and innocently happy, makes me think that maybe coming to the capital was a good idea. Damn, I shouldn't have come to the capital. This was the second thing I thought after oh shit when we met a certain person on our way to our accommodation to drop off our luggage. I have good memories and good friends at the capital, but I also have bad memories and enemies here. Lady Violet definitely still has many enemies, and I was also prepared for the nobles to gossip about her from afar, since her engagement with His Highness Vermilion had been nullified. I had also taken some precautions in case we met other characters from the Ring of Fire or Ms. Mary, who was her dual opponent. Yes, I had taken precautions, but a saint, we saw a saint. Wonderful, simply wonderful. I had thought that the historic Azalea Academy had fallen low when I heard that a commoner girl would be the lead in a traditional drama. But, yeah, we were mistaken. She's truly an actress deserving of going down in history. Shit, can't we get special seats now? I hadn't taken any measures in this direction. Looking at the men and women of all ages crying in front of us, we were confused. Apparently, just a few minutes ago, the stars of the school festival play were giving a short performance here for light publicity. And those who saw the performance were so overcome with emotions that they kept weeping as if they had seen God. Frankly speaking, it was an extremely bizarre scene. We seem to have arrived after those main actors had already left, though. Listen, the main character of this play is a wonderful woman named Miss Mary. It's no exaggeration to say that if you miss her performance, you'll miss 90% of the fun of the school festival. So please come. You, who missed her now, can come too. Tickets are all sold out now, and you can only watch while standing, but still truly worth it. Yeah, sure. I'll come if I have time. That's almost 10 times the loss. I suppressed my desire to retort. After I received a flyer for the play from a cute, little animal-like, silver-haired, pretty boy with red eyes in front of me, and smiled insincerely, he bowed with satisfaction and left to hand the flyer to the next person. We'll have to take him on? Dash. I muttered quietly as I looked at the bizarre scene in front of me. It was Silva Seifred, one of the love interests in Ring of Fire, who had given me the flyer. It was the right decision to have Lady Violet stay behind and come to see what was going on because I had a bad premonition. As I watched the scene that looked like brainwashing, I was concerned about what was going to happen next. No matter how things go, it won't end up pretty. Lord CLO, is this a common occurrence in the capital? As if. Chapter 97, a nonstop overflowing black aura. I didn't see anything. I wanted to tell myself that and ignore the bizarre sight from earlier, but things are never that easy. Although I didn't see her directly, one of the factors responsible for creating the scene from earlier was Ms. Mary. As long as I have to go to the school festival, I have to know if she's involved. From what I've heard, this situation was created because the promotional play was amazing. Looking at the flyer I received earlier, Ms. Mary and His Highness Vermilion are in the lead roles, so, in this case, both of their performances were probably excellent, but Ms. Mary must have stood out more. I can hear the voices praising His Highness, but if anything, the voices of worship towards Ms. Mary are louder. Honestly, it's scary. The school festival play, During my time, only the nobles could star in the play during the school festival. In other words, because it was a play performed at Azalea Academy, which had a long history and pride, the ones participating in it also had to be those of high social status. It was the same way in Ring of Fire 2, and depending on the route, the heroine would be the first commoner to play the main character. But this year's leading role seems to belong to Ms. Mary, a commoner. In that case, it would be better to not see the play. I was a bit interested since I didn't get to see the play during the school festival because that was when my incident happened, but if Lady Violet heard that His Highness Vermilion and Ms. Mary are in leading roles, she might break down crying. I felt a little prickle again. I wonder why. It's true that I don't want to see Lady Violet burst in tears, but this feels like a different kind of prickle. Let's go, Lord CLO. Gray, who called out to me, as if to interrupt my thoughts, peeked at the flyer I was holding, and when he saw the contents, his voice and expression became displeased, even though he seemed to have been having fun just a second ago. You can't see that he's in a bad mood from the sidelines, but I can tell that he's in a bad mood because the inflection of his voice has become lower than usual. What's wrong, Gray? You seem to be in a bad mood. No, sir, it's nothing like that. Looking at the way he's averting his eyes and tries to leave quickly, I can't help but doubt his words. But why would he be in a bad mood? Oh, I see. You're right. Let's go to the lodgings quickly. Or might not be able to do any sightseeing. Yes, let's do so. Lord CLO, is there a way to go around here to take a little detour instead of going straight? It seems like the people who are advertising have already taken this road. If I remember right, yeah, we can do that. The road where those are advertising will probably be crowded, so let's turn right. For now, let's meet up with Lady Violet and others. Gray responded to my proposal with approval and quickly returned to the place where Lady Violet was waiting a little further away. When I see how he can't hide his feelings well like that, it makes me realize that he's still only 11 years old. Well, of course he'd be in a bad mood if the person who dumped his mother and the person who stole her fiancé are playing the lead roles. Moreover, he saw people look forward to it because of their advertisement. Gray must be feeling complicated. I folded the flyer sloppily, and once it got small enough, I burned it with fire magic that even I could use. Thinking about it, regardless of whether Ms. Mary is a reincarnator or not, the content of this flyer wasn't very favorable for me. I feel bad for whoever made it, but it's something I'll see anyway even if I didn't like it. It was something I was given for free anyway, so let's use it to relieve some stress. Once it burnt to some extent, I blew on it to extinguish the fire and threw what was left in the nearby trash can. I turned on my heels to go back to where Lady Violet and others were waiting and was about to follow Gray. Why did you throw it away? I got involved with a crazy guy in a sense. The one who appeared in front of me, while glaring at me, was a short-statured boy, not even 160 centimeters tall, with silver hair and aggressive red eyes, who handed me the flyer earlier. In other words, one of the love interests, Silva Seifred. He is the only commoner among the love interests, who is rumored to use magic that was said to be a cursed power when he first entered the school. He had a gloomy personality, but because the heroine interacted with him without discrimination, he returned to his original bright personality. He is the character who was popular because of the gap between his cute personality and the strength he showed sometimes. That boy is now glaring at me. That was thoughtless of me. I don't know much about him, but since he talked with me cheerfully earlier, he should be able to control the power that's said to be cursed. If he became cheerful after interacting with Miss Creamhild, no, Ms. Mary, he probably loves her. Yet, he would become jealous of the person who destroyed the flyer featuring Ms. Mary. Why did you burn it? It was a flyer featuring my beloved Ms. Mary. Sure, Ms. Mary's face might not be drawn on it, but there are beautiful 7 letters making up Mary Sue written on it. I'm sure you didn't see the play earlier, but that doesn't give you a good reason to burn it. How do you think she would feel if she saw what you did? Wouldn't she feel hurt if the flyer of a play she was taking apart and got burnt? No, Ms. Mary would be sadder about the fact that something we and the others worked so hard to make and give out to excite people was burnt more than the fact that a flyer with her name on it was burnt. It's because Ms. Mary is a very kind person. Do you understand? Ms. Mary is very kind. She's somebody who can express her joy, anger, and sadness for others, to the extent that sometimes I wish she would treat herself better. She has saved so many people, not just me, but also other people with high social status like His Highness. We all accept her, respect her, and love her. Such a wonderful person like her is trying to liven up our school festival by starring in a school play where only nobles could perform so everybody could enjoy the school festival regardless of their social status. What's more, even though she was busy playing the leading role, she worked tirelessly to help her class prepare for the school festival and made it into something wonderful. In order to respond to Ms. Mary's efforts and beauty, we have continued to advertise until the last moment to help fulfill Ms. Mary's wish to liven up the school festival. And one of the ways we're helping is by handing out flyers like this. I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. What in the world is this? I can feel some kind of a dark aura from him. If I remember right, Silva had a lot of scenes of being jealous of other love interests, but what's with envy in this direction? Silva grabbed my right hand, pulled it towards him, and once again put the flyer from earlier in my right hand. That's why. Please don't burn it the next time, okay? Yes. Silva handed me the flyer with a big smile, and I had no choice but to accept it obediently. Chapter 98. He also cherishes him. Ms. Mary has beautiful golden hair and the eyes the same color as mine, but her red eyes are incomparably more beautiful than mine. Even though she is so beautiful that it's absurd to even feel lust toward her, she also has a transient feeling about her that makes you want to protect her. She's the kind of a woman that makes you feel like you would never meet a woman better than her. For someone like you, who has never met her, this might sound like a big exaggeration, but if you would like to confirm the truth of my words, please come to the dash. Please let go of Lord CLO's arm. As I was receiving the flyer from Silva with a big smile, Gray returned with a somewhat forceful tone, perhaps worried about me. Silva didn't know who had arrived at first, but after noticing that it was the person who had been next to me earlier through his appearance and his face, he calmed the black aura he had been letting out until now, let go of my arm, and replied, I'm sorry, I got emotional because this person threw away the flyer. As expected, being forceful wasn't a good idea. When Silva explained this to Gray, he also bowed deeply and apologized to me. He had become so docile, it was hard to think he was ranting rapidly a moment ago. That black aura was probably mana that started the rumors about Silva wielding curse power. The mana itself is imbued with the power of a curse and black magic. So no matter what kind of magic he uses, it will be more powerful than normal, but it would corrode his mind. How should I put it? It's strangely creepy compared to normal magic. Originally, he was almost devoured by his powers, but he's able to become better at controlling it thanks to the heroine. This allowed the rumors to be dispelled. He's accepted by the students of Azalea Academy and became more cheerful as time went on. We would learn the secrets of how he was able to enter Azalea Academy through his route. Or that's how it's supposed to go. Then, if you'd like, you can come to watch too. A lot of amazing people will be performing, so it's worth seeing. Instead of forcing it on him, he held out a flyer in front of Gray and encouraged him to take it voluntarily. It's a very stubborn way of passing it to him. Gray, my apologies. I will gratefully accept your flyer. It looked like Gray would stubbornly refuse to accept the flyer and make things even more awkward, so I called his name and urged him to take it. I feel bad for Gray, but he has to accept it now. Yup, then I'll be waiting for you. Silva was satisfied that his flyer was accepted and left with a cute smile that would charm anybody who saw it. It was a smile I was also familiar with from the Ring of Fire. But what exactly was that dark personality from earlier? Let's go, Lord CLO. HM? Oh yeah, we can't keep them waiting forever. I'm concerned about Silva, but I can't get distracted by the questions in front of me and forget about my precious family. Gray also seems a little grumpy, so let's go back quickly and enjoy sightseeing in the capital. It's fun for me to see the famous spots of the capital, which I haven't visited in a while with Lady Violet, Apricot, and the others. Things will be depressing enough from tomorrow, so I want to at least enjoy this day before bed. But let me just cheat a little bit before we regroup. Wait a minute, Gray. Yes, what's wrong? I told Gray to wait, bought 2 of it nearby, and gave 1 to Gray. This is a thin stick-shaped bread dough with cream in it. It's a food called crone. What I handed him was a crone, a croissant baked into a cylinder and filled with the cream used for cream puffs. The bottom part was wrapped in paper so that it was easy to eat while walking. Eat it before we go back to Lady Violet and the others. Oh, okay. Thank you for the meal. Although confused by my sudden action, Gray timidly took a bite of crone, perhaps unable to contain his curiosity towards food he was seeing for the first made and the smell of freshly made pastries. It's delicious. I'm glad you like it. After he took a single bite, all his previous apprehension and bad mood disappeared, changing into a big smile like when we first arrived in the capital. Yeah, as expected. Seeing him like this makes me happier. Does the fact that it has your name mean that you're the one who invented it, Lord CLO? Wrong. He would probably believe me if I told him that he was right, but I have to deny it. He's so engrossed in eating that he's saying incomprehensible things. While watching over him, I ate crone for the first time in a while, enjoying it slowly and feeling moved that the taste almost hadn't changed from the time I was a student. Gray quickly finished eating and was moved by his first encounter with something sweet. He was moved enough that he would probably ask for the recipe and make it when we go back to Shiki. It's a secret from Lady Violet, okay? Why? I want Mother to experience this taste too. We'll show it to her, but the fact that you ate it now is a secret. Get it? This is a secret between us. A secret only between us. Yeah. Besides, if we tell Lady Violet, she'll get mad at you for eating it on your own before dinner. Wah. It's unfair to say that after making me eat it, I quickly dodged the flustered Gray, and after finishing the crone, I stole the wrapper Gray was holding and put it in a nearby trash can along with the wrapper I was holding. When I told him that I was going back first, he followed behind me despite his confusion. Gray was worried about what to do until we returned to where Lady Violet was waiting, but he didn't seem to be in any particular distress. Violet didn't seem to have heard about the commotion a moment ago and was chatting with Apricot while looking at the products in a nearby stall. When she noticed my arrival, she stopped shopping and approached me with a beautifully executed short run. Lord CLO, what was that commotion about in the... What's wrong, Lord CLO? You seem tired, but you look like you're having fun. Well, I was just thinking that the capital was going to be more difficult than I thought. Did something happen? I'll tell you while we walk. Let's go to our lodgings first. Do you mind if we take a little detour? I see. If you say so, I don't mind, Lord CLO. Also, Gray seems to be in a strangely good mood. Hasn't he been like that since a while ago? That's true, but I'm sorry, but I cheated a little. Lady Violet treasures Gray, but since he's also my precious family, it should be fine to cheat a little and have a shared secret together. What's wrong, Gray? You smell different from usual. It's nothing. Let's go quickly. His voice and heartbeat are different from usual. I see, so that's what it is. Lord CLO loves Gray too. This sweet smell, judging from his body temperature, aroma, and nutrition, fragrance. I see. There are many attractive foods here. What might you be talking about? I have no idea what you're alluding to. Fufu, how cute. Hey, Mr. Burnt Ms. Amber. How can you judge my disciple's condition so accurately? I don't know why, but I feel like whatever method you are using, I have to protect my disciple from it. Apricot, your feelings aren't wrong, and I think they're able to make judgments because of their special skills. It's honestly scary. I feel like it would be difficult to keep a secret in front of them. Chapter 99, To Go to Bed Without Worries. After checking in and leaving out luggage at our lodgings, we went around the capital's main facilities and the central marketplace, where we could buy various things. After enjoying sightseeing for a while, we returned to the accommodation and gathered in my room. We were going to share today's impressions with each other and review tomorrow's plans. By the way, Apricot is also staying at the accommodation, as it's cheaper, probably because of Ash's recommendation. As for Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber, they're staying together as siblings in a room near us at the same accommodation. You don't have any alcohol? Yes. And Cyan, who is more sullen than usual, asked something you wouldn't normally hear from a sister. Apparently, or should I say as expected, She was subjected to a lot of snide comments and pressure at the church. It caused her to get stressed out. As a result of that, as soon as she came here, she split her normal sister clothes with her hand so that it ended up with a slit like her usual uniform, took off her headgear, and demanded alcohol. Actually, does she even have spare clothes? How did your sightseeing go? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, I'm feel apologetic to you, Miss Cyan, but we had a pleasant time. Lady Violet handed Cyan a non-alcoholic drink and told her that we had fun. She told her that Gray and Apricot had funny reactions each time, and we had fun just observing them. We were able to see different types of seasonings and tea that we don't see in Shiki, and were able to compare the flavors and enjoy the taste. That our eyes lit up when we saw the street performance. It was also fun to see that Lady Violet watching so intently, perhaps because she had never seen them. We also went to a diner that I used to go to when I was a student for dinner, and everybody was happy to try it. She talked about what happened just today. I'm glad you had fun. I also wanted to come with you instead of having to practice singing and the play. Tell me about that diner later, CLO. I've probably never been there before. I'll tell you the location, but don't go there dressed like that. You, Kadi, CLO saying the same thing as my peers. No, I also think it's better if you stop dressing like that, Miss Cyan. It's fine in Shiki, but people here aren't used to it, so it's not a good idea to stir them up unnecessarily. Yeah, but your clothes stand out too, Kadi. If your outfit is okay, doesn't that mean that my outfit is okay too? Is that how you thought of my clothes, Miss Cyan? Apricot's witch-like clothes also stand out. There are some mages who wear clothes that resemble that style, but I rarely see them wear big hats like Apricot or hold canes or flip their coats, so it's true that she stands out. A play, huh? While Cyan and Apricot were arguing about their clothes, I heard Lady Violet whisper in a low voice. A play. In other words, something that His Highness Vermilion and Ms. Mary are starring in. Lady Violet seems to have moved on to some extent, but she must still have things on her mind. In the end, she even got invited to that play. Well, we'll both have a hard time starting tomorrow, so let's enjoy what we can enjoy. You have a day off at least, right, Cyan? More or less. The play aside, I'm also busy with confessions and songs, so I don't have many days off. I'm also thinking about using the day off to participate in the Academy's competition for outsiders. What are you talking about? I wanted to change the topic, but Cyan suddenly started saying something stupid. It's a good opportunity to go wild legally. Foo-foo. I can't believe a day has come when I can unleash the full power of my fists. Don't you day has come me. Won't you be scolded by the higher-ups again for turning yourself into a spectacle if you were to participate in something like that? It's pretty much the same thing as being a part of the play at a school festival and attracting people by creating a place for confessions. If you say that, I can't argue back. It's true that combat itself isn't prohibited by the doctrine because of the need to defend oneself from monsters, but excessive force is still condemned. She's been doing it a lot in Shiki, so I do feel like it's a bit too late to call her out on it. If I'm going to be scolded no matter what I do, I want to do whatever I want as much as possible. Ms. Cyan, I think that's probably the same way of thinking as criminals. Do you want to participate too? Io? It looks like we can team up too, so we can snag the win together. No, I can only see the bad ending if Lady Violet competes at the school festival. She's still a daughter of a duke, so there won't be any overt acts of sabotage, but the more she stands out, the more booing she'll get, and somebody might try to obstruct her secretly. I doubt Cyan wouldn't know that. Fwaha! Then I shall participate with my disciple. Time has finally come for me to unveil one of my greatest spells, tenfold eradication. Oh, it's the one that's so incomprehensibly powerful that it kills everybody who gets hit by it. Don't you the one, me? What's with that vaguely dangerous-sounding magic? Also, please don't use any of your greatest magic spells, Apricot. If things go wrong, the entire arena might be blown away. Then I will participate with my brother. We will not fight in the arena, but we will fight with the participants elsewhere. Yes, let's utilize various methods. It's okay, I have a medicine that Lady Emerald gave me. Wait, burnt, that's probably poison. not medicine. Please don't worry. It's the kind that's not detectable. What do you want me to feel at ease about? Those siblings are amazing. They openly announced that they would get rid of the participants behind the scenes. Come to think of it, I wonder how strong they are. I can tell that they're strong from the way they carry themselves, but I wonder about their magic. I wonder if it's just my imagination that I feel like Mr. Burnt uses magic that utilizes vibrations. That's why you will join alone, CLO. Don't worry. If it's you, you'll have no problems alone either. Why do I have to go through the trouble of joining a team tournament alone? Then do you want to invite Ro? You can aim to win with her. That sounds good. Lord CLO? A tag team with Robot, huh? Not bad. Robot's abilities are definitely top class in the academy, and I'd love to trample down everybody while laughing loudly. To be exact, the one doing the tramping would be Robot, but how to say this? It would make me feel like the evil boss and help me relieve stress. All right, then go get participation forms for everybody, CLO. Okay, let's make Shiki famous, shall we? Nay, it is me and my disciple who shall make our names known. Yes. Let's trample them down and laugh at them. Brother, I will investigate the delivery route for the drinks given to the players. Then I will look into the information on the staff. Hey guys, are you serious? Are you really serious? Of course, m'lady, guys. I wasn't sure about it first, but when I was told that I would be participating with Robot, I was convinced. This is probably just Cyan messing around after seeing how depressed Lady Violet was. She's sensitive about stuff like that. And it seems like she got worried. Cuckoo. I'll let out all my pin-up frustration on the day of the match. I don't care about the Archbishop. Lady Apricot, the time has finally come to show great deity Ibuki Kagura to everybody. With it, my magic also increases. Since I've improved it, it no longer needs the power of the curse. Fufu, I shall annihilate everybody. Brother, let's take turns to protect the group and divide the roles in investigation. Then I'll choose this time's lot too. I want to believe that she was worried about Lady Violet. Or rather, did Apricot master great deity Ibuki from the outline that I gave her? And she even improved it? Is this kid for real? That you're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.